is closed right now northbound between Delaney Road and Kilbourne. That's due to a crash. The Adams Expressway looks good. Kennedy outbound at Ogden in the express lanes is crashed. Left lane is blocked. Inbound Eisenhower, the exit to the outbound Kennedy set to reopen after an overnight closure. The other expressways and tollways are looking good at this hour on Friday. That's traffic. I'm Jim Calamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny. Look for a very nice afternoon. Our high today at 82. Clear tonight and a low 62. Partly sunny for tomorrow. The high near 81. Sunday, partly sunny. Could pick up a shower or thunderstorm. The high on Sunday at 81. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
63 O'Hare, 69 Lakefront. It is 53 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know promotional products work because they're everywhere from sales meetings and corporate events to trade shows. Ever wondered why or how to best use promotional products to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away an ebook called Promotional Products Work, absolutely free, to everyone who texts RADIO to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free ebook will reveal valuable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, help your cause, or simply grow your business. Get the ebook Promotional Products Work absolutely free by texting RADIO to 88988. That's RADIO to 88988.
Do you ever find yourself wanting more from your child's experience at school? This is Tom Stoner, head of school at Covenant Classical School in Naperville. Our academic program is designed to help students discover the joy of learning, and our teachers use methods that have proven effective for centuries. Our students wrestle with ideas and values that are informed by Christian faith, and they study and learn in a nurturing school community where they are known and loved for who they are. Would your child or a child you know flourish at Covenant Classical School? Come visit the school and see why a current school parent said, "I knew nothing about classical schooling, but when I saw what was happening in the classroom, I fell in love with it." Learn more and set up a visit at covenantclassicalschool.org. That's covenantclassicalschool.org.
The kids grew up so fast. Hard to believe it's been over 20 years since you were playing catch in the backyard or showing your youngest around the kitchen. Lots of memories in this house. But maybe it's time to make new memories in a house that's more suited to your current lifestyle. McNaughton Development brings all the quality, style, and upscale details you love in your current home in a custom home that better suits your present needs. You don't have to scale down and sacrifice everything you love in the home where your kids grew up. With McNaughton, you get the highest quality custom residential construction with exclusive amenities. Right now, McNaughton is building Lakeside Point of Burr Ridge. It's a community with 44 home sites in the heart of the Burr Ridge Village Center, featuring 7 refined ranch and first-floor master 2-story floor plans. You can walk to the finest restaurants and shops in Burr Ridge and enjoy maintenance-free living in a park setting with natural lake. Now, through August 31st, save $25,000 on options. To learn more about Lakeside Point of Burr Ridge and their other suburban communities, visit luxuryemptynester.com. Tom Killeran Photography is ready to memorialize your next event with photos that come to life and preserve the memories for generations. They can accommodate your large group photos to individual portraits, wallet size to panoramic. They can even print your photos on location as a take-home keepsake for your party guests. Visit KilleranPhotography.com. AM 560 The Answer hired Tom Killeran Photography for our annual charity golf outing, and the finished product was amazing. Book Tom Killeran Photography for your your upcoming corporate event, family reunion, wedding, bar mitzvah, or any event you want to capture forever. And those old family videos you have on VHS tape, it's time to preserve them forever. Tom Killeran Photography can transfer your beloved memories to DVD and can restore your older faded photos or enlarge them. Visit KilleranPhotography.com. KilleranPhotography.com. KILLORAN Photography.com.
It's Health Quest Radio, Chicagoland's longest-running health, news, and science show with your host, Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, people who age slower live longer. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. We can compare your biologic age with your chronologic age to determine how fast you're aging. Just a few seconds to safely scan for those advanced glycation end products that cause premature aging. And I'll pay for your first assessment. That's right, your first one is free. Then we'll give you a few things to do and retest in 60 days. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. But you gotta call our Health Quest radio hotline at 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. First one free if you make that call right now. Some conditions and restrictions to apply. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. Call 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Got tax problems? Want to get the IRS off your ASS? Whether you're an individual or business and are having problems with the IRS, have PJN Tax Solutions Group help you solve your problems. PJN Tax Solutions Group specializes in providing affordable solutions to businesses and individuals like you who, for whatever reason, find themselves at odds with the IRS. They'll represent you in front of the IRS, allowing you to continue on with your life. You won't have to speak with an IRS agent. PJN Tax Solutions Group puts experts to work to solve your tax problems quickly and affordably. They offer a free consultation to review your case and explain your options. Would you go to court without an attorney? Then why would you represent yourself before the IRS? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group today at 630-415-5296 or visit their website at pjntaxsolutions.com. PJN Tax Solutions Group. They're the rescue squad for troubled taxpayers.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning is John Cass. John, I always like to do this with a guest host. Just start your preferred pronouns for the show.
Hey, you.
Hey, you is your preferred pronoun. Hey, you know, you have to talk into that microphone here. Bring it up to yeah, so everybody can hear your mellifluous voice.
The voice of a nightingale.
That's right.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dan Proft. Good morning, AM 560 listeners.
And
Dan, you look like you just got out of bed like 20 minutes
It's a long day. Yeah, I went to the Bears game last night.
Oh, you went to practice.
I got less sleep than I usually did. Yeah, it was fun. You know, you want to get first look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good time. Nice, beautiful night at Soldier Field.
Isn't that these are the games that the in-laws go to that you really don't care about, right?
I mean, how much are we going to see Chase Daniel this year? You know, I'd like to acknowledge that he's playing.
Hey, would you like to see a Bear game? Yeah, here it is. Just don't call me when the Packers are in town.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I was behind the Carolina bench. It was nice to see Cam Newton roaming around. I mean, he was in, warm-up suit. But I wanted to see how many gold chains he would have on, and he has slightly more than I have. It's close. All right, I wanted to ask you this, John, to kick off here.
You comb your chest hair forward, right?
Yes, in the lock position, right? We've had almost 5 days now of reaction to the shootings in El Paso and Dayton, and my question is a general one on the topics that we've discussed in the wake of these atrocities over many years. Let's go at least back the last 20 years since Columbine. Did you hear anything new this week from your elected leaders, civic panjandrums, business leaders, and
gun control, mental illness,
Video games.
yeah, and everything sort of under the heading of culture. Have you heard
Yeah, I
anything
wrote
new?
about that.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
What we also learned is that immediately after the shootings, the left would weaponize the dead. But we already knew that, and they did.
Right.
Right. I mean, they did.
But is there
they
anything?
took the dead bodies and they put them up on totems and politically at least.
Yes.
And beat Trump with it.
But is this just role playing now? I mean, we're just all going through the motions on this stuff to have the same conversations over and over again.
You know,
Be outraged, be upset, be empathetic, and then give it about a week, and then we'll move on.
I hesitate to mention this because a gentleman should never quote himself, but I did have Dan Proft on the Chicago Way podcast, and after that podcast the other day, I went out and purchased the book by Flannery O'Connor.
Oh, Mystery and Manners.
Mystery and Manners.
Yeah.
I'm reading it now. The tyranny of tenderness is all upon us, whether you look at Fox News' handling of the crying girl at the, whose dad was
Picked up by ICE.
in the ICE raid.
Right.
But no crying children when daddy goes away for dealing drugs on a corner of the street. We don't do that. And it's all emotion. Everything is emotion. And that's all they have, really. It's just ratcheting up emotion and ready to unleash it when they grab power.
No crying.
That's when we'll be crying.
No crying family members at funerals for Americans killed by people in this country illegally. Not a lot of sentimentality associated with the coverage of Kate Steinle, and that's one of the more high profile instances that was actually covered. Well, of course, here in Chicago.
I wrote about years ago, and his brother. That's kind of avoided because why?
So, I mean, the thing. Are you suggesting that it's just my book recommendations that's new this week, or do you think that tenderness? And I don't mean that in a positive. Sentimentality really is what we're talking about. Do you think that is more pronounced than it's been in the past, and that informs the coverage, but it doesn't inform the conversation?
Yes, I think it's there. But the reason why we have more of it now than ever before, I haven't quite determined why.
Tom in Deer Park, you're in Chicago's Morning
Hey,
Answer.
Tom.
Hi, guys. Good morning. No, I've learned nothing new. I've just been reinforced about specifically the issue of firearms. And they've had 20 or 25 years now of willful ignorance. After every incident like this, we get this nonsense and this ridiculous stuff about banning this, do this, do that. They've had 25 years to get educated. I know because I've sent some of them that information. So the willful ignorance, in my opinion, just stays there because it's an issue for fundraising and shrieking and howling on network news. And that's my opinion. I was wondering, you guys, if you share that or what yours is.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. Vox.com, German Lopez piece. Guns are the problem. Guns are the problem. Many Americans focus on the shooter's motive, which leads to some legitimate questions. But the reason for the ceaseless death toll is simpler. It ultimately comes down to America's lax access to a large supply of guns. America doesn't have a monopoly on racism, sexism, or other kinds of bigotry, mental illness, or violent video games. All of those exist in countries across the world, many with much less gun violence. What is unique about the U.S. that makes it so easy for people with any motive or problem to obtain a gun? That's what makes the U.S. unique. Okay, so reinstitute the quote-unquote assault weapon ban from 2 decades ago. It lasted for a decade. We know the data didn't have a material impact on crime, didn't have a material impact on mass shootings. But go ahead, do it. And then what?
I remember a news conference many years ago at City Hall Daley was up there talking about, assault weapons and he's too witless to understand that all weapons like that are assault weapons. But he went on, and I had a copy of a report that Jimmy Maurer had put out. Then he was chief of detectives or one of the top deputies. And it's basically said that of all the homicides that year, 1 or 2 were assault weapon related.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they're all handguns mostly, and they shoot sideways, like they think they're like in a rap video or something, and they're shooting kids across the street, like that poor kid from Northwestern that was killed a while ago.
Ban whatever you want to ban. Just wave a wand and it's banned. And what happens? I mean, I would love to hear someone in the D.C. press corps push these preening politicians on the the reputed benefits of what they're proposing. In other words, you want to ban this, you want to regulate that. Tell me what happens next. What's the consequence of what you want to do? How quickly do we get the peaceful utopia that your proposal asserts to bring upon us?
We've had 50 or 60, 70 million abortions in my lifetime. You cannot, when a culture does something like that to itself, you cannot divorce it. You cannot speak about a death cult and then not talk about the death cult. This is all selective nattering and crying for TV. That's all it is, really.
Well, here's what Bobby O'Rourke had to say about mass shootings. Oh, I know you've enjoyed hearing from him this week. He's got more.
It will happen again because what happened in El Paso is not an isolated incident. After the president warned of caravans, you had somebody go into the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, warning of caravans. You had the mosque in Victoria, Texas, burned to the ground on the day that Trump signed his executive order seeking to ban Muslim travel to the United States. So there are very real consequences to his words, to his tweets, to the racism that he fans. You saw this in May at a rally in Florida. He says, how are we going to stop these people, meaning these immigrants, from coming to this country? Someone yells out, shoot them. The crowd roars their approval.
He laughs.
He laughs. He says, that's okay with me. So he's not the source of racism in this country. This country's been racist as long as it's been a country, but he is certainly fanning the flames. He is certainly making violence like this more possible and more real until we change course.
So this is going to happen again if Trump is reelected, until we change course, so on and so forth. What do we know about the shooters? What do we? I mean, and when I say we,
Where's Daddy?
What did we all know? I mean, what did the community know? So, El Paso, you've got the dad who was a 40-year addict, and the indication is significant degree of absenteeism as he went through 2 relationships, including the one with the shooter's mom. You have the mom who called police about her son purchasing this AK. And in Dayton, 10 years ago, you have high school students warning parents and police about a kid who's got a kill list and a rape list and is texting grotesque, violent, and not so subtle threats to his classmates. So what do we all know? And what was done about it? And by the way, all this talk about, I love the coverage of the El Paso shooter's mom who called police. She didn't identify who she was. She didn't suggest there was a mental illness problem. She called police to express concern about her son having a gun that she was concerned he had. And the focus, of course, is on the gun. I'm sorry. If mom is calling police because the kid has a gun, then there is something much more fundamental going on. So what about the lack of intellectual curiosity, perhaps the lack of expertise for the better part of a decade in the case of the Dayton shooter, for some time in the case of the El Paso shooter? What about those profiles? Do those tell us anything?
Well, you can't expect 911 dispatcher to be a psychiatrist.
I'm not expecting that.
You know,
I'm not
they're
expecting
already
that.
Overworked.
No, I know, but my point is to say, what do we learn from the profiles and the contextual information about these two shooters?
Where's Daddy?
That's part of it.
That's a lot of it. Where's Daddy?
What about? But sure. What about when notice is given? Like notice was given in Parkland. Notice was given in Dayton.
Let's go back to Parkland, because when notice is given, I think there was a fellow from Chicago who advocated a certain federal policy, right, when he was president, to not inform the police, correct?
Right, and to not make these police matters. These are internal school district disciplinary matters.
Barack Obama thinks correct.
And the Parkland superintendent, a Chicago export. We'll take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
63 degrees at 5:31. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot will address the city's precarious financial situation later this month. Mayor set to deliver a primetime speech on August 29. Topics will include how the city will deal with a huge hole blown in the 2020 budget. Crews are battling a fire on the southwest side. Blaze broke out early this morning in a two-story home in the 6200 block of South Artesian. Flames may have spread to two other buildings. America's leading tech companies and Trump administration officials will meet at the White House today. They will address combating online extremism. More than 350 illegal immigrants are free after multiple raids in Mississippi this week. Some will face proceedings in federal immigration courts. About 680 migrant workers were picked up by federal officials at several food processing plants across that state. Calls are growing for Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to let the Senate vote on bills to combat gun violence. While activists rallied in Louisville, an interview with Louisville radio station WHAS with McConnell, he explains what action will hopefully be taken to pass measures to prevent more gun violence.
We're going to begin the discussions during the August break. And when we get back, hopefully we'll be in a position to agree on things on a bipartisan basis and go forward and make a law.
Supporters called on McConnell to let the Senate vote on two bills already passed in the House requiring universal background checks. The annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia getting underway. Hajj begins this evening. More than 2 million Muslims will gather outside Mecca for that 5-day pilgrimage. A man who was wanted in two attacks last month on Chicago's north side is in custody. Adam Bramwell was arrested yesterday by U.S. Marshals near Houston, Texas, taken off a Greyhound bus, wanted for a violent July 13th carjacking. He's also a person of interest in a brutal knife attack several days later on a recent DePaul University grad. Bears dropped their preseason opener to the Carolina Panthers, 23-13. Cubs beat the Reds 12-5 in Cincinnati. 5:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity doesn't see any Democratic candidate making sense.
Now, some are saying, well, we can't afford everything in the Green New Deal, but we can afford a lot of it. They all support a version of the Green New Deal. Anybody that tries to tell you that there's any moderates running for president on the Democratic Party ticket is just lying to you.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can call Crumweedy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies. And the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. And many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crum Weedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crum Weedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
Call Crum Weedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that, too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-6213. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-6213. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-6213. 1-800-400-6213.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
5:37 AM 560 traffic center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's South Side, firefighters are battling a blaze at 62nd and Artesian. This has been upgraded to a 211 alarm. Firefighters are busy there. Downtown, Balboa and Jackson are still closed between Columbus and Lakeshore Drive to clean up after Lollapalooza. Those streets are supposed to reopen tonight. The Edens looks good. The Kennedy as well. Reversibles are open inbound. No delays to report on the Eisenhower. Inbound, the ramp to the outbound Kennedy has reopened. The Stevenson looks good. The Ryan 2. There is work outbound 87th to split the 3 right lanes. I-57 Bishopport still okay. No tollway delays right now. And Northwest Indiana is looking good on this Friday. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny and nice today, high 82. Clear and 62 overnight, 63 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy comes your way now. And make sure to join me, Sebastian Gorka, tonight at 10, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy J. this morning, John Kay, John Cass, Chicago Tribune columnist extraordinaire, preferred pronouns he or him or you. Hey, you. We've established.
Yeah.
Also,
better than things I can't say on the air.
That's right. This isn't serious. And I mean that in a homonym type. Never mind. Hi, I was asking the question before Mike Scott's newscast. Guns, mental illness, isolation, anger, evil, everything under the rubric culture. Have you learned anything this week? Have you heard anything new, or are we just now in a position where we role play for a week or two after an atrocity and then resume course? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'd like to say I learned about tamping down some of the harsh rhetoric, been instructed by the left on hate. And then I read Tommy Lee's commentary on Trump supporters. Tommy Lee, you remember of Motley Crue fame?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I missed that.
You were an 80s hair band guy, weren't you?
I stopped listening to popular music at the Yes concert at the amphitheater when I realized that thousands of people who were all stoned, except for me, did not know that Edvard Grieg was the basis of the band.
And when you realize that nobody calls it popular music anymore?
Whatever they call it, I'm done with it.
Yeah. All right.
I go with old rock and roll, R&B, but I'm not going to go with hair bands. Sorry.
Well, now that Tommy Lee's feeling better after his bout with hepatitis C, he had this to say. You Trumpsters better pray that liberals never gain control of the White House again, because we're going to pay you back so effing hard for all of this blank. Planned Parenthood's in every damn corner. We're going to repaint Air Force One pea-hat pink and fly it over your beloved Bible Belt 6 days a week, tossing birth control pills, condoms, and atheist literature from the cockpit. Pun intended. We're going to tax your mega churches so bad Joel Osteen would need to get a job at Chick-fil-A to pay his light bill. Speaking of Chick-fil-A, we're buying cult leaders tortured with conversion therapy. Have fun with your new menu, you bigoted Fs.
Does that mean I can't get when I ask for salt at Chick-fil-A, I can't get it in the form of a woman, like a little stick, like a pillar?
Yes, okay. He goes on. Try the McPence. It's a boiled, unseasoned chicken breast that you have to eat in the closet with your mother. We're all going to gather up all of your guns, melt them down, and turn them into a gargantuan metal mountain emblazoned with the face of Hillary Clinton. All parks will be renamed. All parks will be renamed Rosa Parks ASAP. We're what an honor. We're replacing Confederate statues is what he meant, with BLM leaders and Mexican immigrants. Every single public school will be named after a child that was kidnapped by this regime. And after we fumigate the White House, we're replacing the whole thing rainbow. Fox News will be taken over and turned into a family refugee shelter. We're turning Hannity's office into a giant unisex bathroom with changing tables and free tampons. And every single time a Trumpster complains about any of the changes, we're adding an openly gay character to a Disney movie.
He forgot to mention the part about the Hunt being on public television in the morning.
A 24-hour loop
for children.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay, Tommy. All right.
Nice.
I mean, he's that's.
That's what it is. Come on, admit it. That's where we're going. You just had a fellow on yesterday, I believe, talking about the coming Civil War. Right.
Angelo Codavia, yeah, I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know that I completely buy that argument, but I would like to hear what Vince Neil thinks now that Tommy Lee has weighed in. Jim on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello, my name is Jim, retired Chicago Police Sergeant. Thank you for taking my call. One of the classes we took in the academy was through a Colonel Grossman in the United States Army, and he did extensive research on the effects of video games. Your brain doesn't differentiate between a play attack and a real attack. And there's an aggressive chemical and a non-aggressive chemical in your brain. When there's a fight or flight syndrome and people think that they're under attack, the brain creates a lot of the aggressive chemical. And there was MRIs done on these kids playing video games, and they discovered that there's almost no calming passive chemical left in their brain. So video games aren't everything, but the effects of them can't be underscored. And not only that, but I don't see anybody on the left protesting the video game manufacturers. I don't see anybody protesting Hollywood with all the violence and everything that's going on. These kids are inundated with it, and this is a result of how our society has changed from black and white, good and bad, to gray and anything can go. And these kids, our brains are conditioned to just attack.
See,
and nobody's mentioning that.
Yeah, well, Jim, there's a couple of problems here. One is the video games argument is a little bit like the left's argument about guns. These inanimate objects have some sort of moral agency rather than being neutral instruments that can be used for good or evil. The evidence on video games, the way you're describing it, is just very thin, if it exists at all. Now, there's certainly research that suggests that playing video games, generally speaking, playing them for extended periods of time, can lead to isolation, can induce like a more propensity for depression, and so then you start to get isolation, depression as a connection to disenfranchisement from civil society and perhaps counterproductive, uncivil conduct. But with respect to video games themselves, you have to account for the fact that 99.9% of kids who play even the most, the least redeemable video games, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Red
Dead Redemption 2.
Well, but whatever. They don't commit crimes. You have to account for that.
I understand it. I'm not underscoring that, but what I'm saying is there is a physiological effect where your brain does not differentiate between a real attack and a perceived attack.
Yeah.
And the chemical.
Yeah.
I mean, I just suggest that you look into. I believe his name was Colonel Grossman.
I'll look into it.
And look at the research he did, and maybe there's some more to this than what was just suggested.
All right. Thanks for the call, Jim. I appreciate it.
Good if retired sergeants of police could be tasked to bring kids to the emergency room at Mount Sinai or some other hospital on a weekend and hear the screams of people that got shot and hear the parents of people that got shot. It just might be a way to wake them up a little bit.
Oh, well, a mentoring element that you're describing, yeah, I think there is value in that. Just on the video games, there's a piece in Wire magazine on the topic. Timothy Fong is a psychiatric professor at UCLA, studies gambling as well as video games, directs UCLA's addiction medicine clinic. He suggests there's just not really, there is a mental health impact on video games, but it doesn't include promoting violence. He suggests, as I was sort of alluding to, there is problems with playing video games obsessively, according to this professor. Depression, isolation, but there just isn't a one-to-one mapping between violence and degradation that takes place in a pretend world and in the real world.
I got you, Dan, but
But one other point he makes, this author makes though too, he said, in terms of the digital or the online world, big tech, the misplaced focus on violence, argues this author, Noam Cohn. The misplaced focus on violence leaking from pretend digital worlds to the real world misses the glaring digital influence we're subjected to every day. Silicon Valley companies manipulating users, trying to shape their behavior online and to make money off it. The manipulation requires careful planning and testing, notifications and rewards, tapping into anger, fear, and greed. Something as ill-defined as a shoot gun online, shoot gun offline won't get the job done, researchers have concluded, but the gamification that's part of just the everyday experience online through the big tech companies. And of course, he's mainly directing our attention to social media. Is an area for additional inquiry as well. There are more and more studies that are showing some of the ill effects to, again, obsessive use of social media, just as there are perhaps some ill effects with obsessive use of video games, but there's not a direct link.
I got it. But if you look at where do the tech giants send their kids, all the video game bosses, you think they let their little kids play Call of Duty? No, they don't.
No, and
they let them play Grand Theft Auto? No, they don't. They send their kids to the Wharton School, which doesn't even allow anything but pencils, pens, and paper. So they divorce their own children from this stuff, but they make fortunes selling it to your kids, and you're happy that he's playing Major League Baseball at 8 years old online instead of learning how to pick up a grounder outside.
Well, I don't think as a group, the Silicon Valley contains better parents than the society generally. But I will say there is this element of what do they know? It reminds me of the fact that half of CPS teachers send their kids to private school.
Yes.
What do they know? So they're inside the system. They're behind the curtain. What do they know? And some of the decisions they're making in their household are instructive. So I think that's a fair point. Carl on the south side.
Good morning, Janet, John. I'm going to answer your question real quick on the lighter side before I get John. You asked about what happens after the Second Amendment's taken away. As history has shown, when you disarm a society, the rest of their freedoms go within 10 years. Okay, John,
yeah, Carl.
I'm offended this morning. I'm a good American. I woke up asking how I could be offended, and you offended me because you are way too ugly to identify as a female sheep. You are not a you.
Oh, a U, E-W-E. You see what he did there?
Yeah, I got you.
Thanks for the call, Carl.
Thanks, Carl. A lot I'd like to say, but I'm not going to say it, Carl.
Right Craig in Mount Greenwood.
Outside, Carl, in the parking lot.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, John.
Hey.
They definitely aren't doing anything new or different. They're doing the same old things, but a lot worse than that. And here's the big problem. That unconstitutional sticker that has a pistol with a diagonal line through it, that should only apply to illegal guns, illegal and all that, not concealed carry holders. None of these shootings or any of this stuff occur with concealed carry. The concealed carry people, they are an advantage to the society of protecting innocence. And the problem is there's not enough concealed carry. There's none of them allowed in any of these places. These criminals and people that are crazy or whatever, you don't even have to worry about what the reason is. They would be put down right away a lot sooner if these areas were loaded up with concealed carry holders.
Yeah.
They could put them down.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Craig. I mean, okay, but we're trying to take a step before that, right? We're trying to understand and have a conversation about what can be done to prevent those events from ever happening in the first place. Not how do we contain the carnage, but why are we getting these individuals, these young men?
We haven't gotten to the next big story, which is coming, which is like some guy who never, who fires a gun at a range, gets his concealed carry, walks around terrified, gets in a situation and pops some kids, pops one or two, maybe black kids, a white guy shooting black kids or Antifa or whatever, and then we're going to have another deal.
No racial component to it.
Oh, we're going to have another. It's like the Bernie Getz story waiting to just open.
There's also this piece, Miranda Devine writing in New York Post. We've talked a little bit about this with the New York Times writer and author, not headline writer, about the impact of marijuana on
psychosis,
on psychology, and Parents Opposed to Pot, which is a lobby group, has tried to sound the alarm, the link between marijuana use and mass shootings. Now, I'm not making the link, I'm describing the argument. They compiled a list of mass killers that were heavy users of marijuana from a young age: Aurora, Colorado, Tucson, Arizona. You know who these people are. Chattanooga, Tennessee. And there's also some evidence, I guess, some indication that the Dayton shooter, two of his friends said that he had mentioned his previous drug use. So, just particularly as we run headlong into the legalization and glorification of drug use. I mean, certainly Kamala Harris thinks it's funny.
When she's not putting people away for pot.
Well, that, just in terms of the particular dangers of it, we've tried to have those discussions on the show. I know the sort of support for decriminalization, outright legalization, and commoditization runs across the spectrum, but in both directions. So does the opposition. We can have a conversation about all of these topics, but we're missing sort of the fundamentals
Of course
here.
you are, but on purpose. But you know that. The fundamental is when we turn our face away from God and believe in scientific rationalism without any understanding of morality, the results are painfully predictable, as the experiments on people at Auschwitz and other places under Nazi Germany. And to hear colleagues of mine talk about America as Nazi Germany is just pathetic.
A piece in Federalist, we killed God, family, and community, and now it's killing us.
Mm-hmm.
Thane Bellamo writes, we've created a society that now offers almost none of the things that make people truly happy: family, community, spiritual belonging. These are the foundational and primal building blocks of human happiness, and they are rapidly disappearing. Once upon a time, you had meaning. You knew you had meaning because you had a mom and a dad who told you so, a God who loved you, and a community that needed you. Those things, again, he suggests, are rapidly disappearing, and maybe there's something more fundamental in that conversation, but that requires introspection and course correction. It's so much easier just to say they're the bad guy and we're going to ban this instrumentality.
How can you do that when you're busy weeping into a microphone? You can't.
Only so many hours in the day. I understand.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Baseball season is in full swing. It's a good thing Matt secured his denture with Super Polygrip. Now he can enjoy the snacks as much as the game.
Polygrip. Hey, how are you? So great to see you.
It's that time of year when the family meets up.
Hi, come on. Get together, guys. Family photo.
It's a good thing Jack cleans his denture with Polydent so he can enjoy the whole day with confidence.
Polydent.
Your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents thinking about private school. Maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland, available at half the normal price. No catch. Simple. Find a school near you, purchase the voucher, prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located across the region: Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Covenant Christian in Aurora, Faith Evangelical Lutheran in Antioch, Westminster Christian School in Elgin, and many more. So don't delay. School's almost here, and visit halfpriceschools.com today before these vouchers sell out. Again, halfpriceschools.com. Coming up at 6:06, we'll get reaction to the ICE raid in Mississippi. Now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Mayor Lightfoot to address the city's poor finances later this month. White Sox and Yankees will play at the Field of Dreams, and the Bears drop their preseason opener. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
They would not have prevented El Paso or Dayton. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what the NRA's leader is saying about new gun control proposals being called for. And Wayne LaPierre adds they'd actually make millions of Americans less safe, less able to defend themselves. He has talked to President Trump, reportedly saying new laws would be unpopular among his voter base. Now, these new laws will not be considered right away like Democrats want. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Democrats want the Senate to come back from recess to take up gun control, but Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says it'll have to wait until September, telling WHAS in Louisville the issue will lead the discussion when lawmakers reconvene.
When we get back, hopefully we'll be in a position to agree on things on a bipartisan basis and go forward and make a law.
McConnell said expanded background checks and red flag laws, which allow law enforcement to temporarily take guns from people deemed a threat, will be front and center. Dave?
Rachel, people freaked out at another Walmart, fearing another mass shooting. This time in Springfield, Missouri, a man walked in wearing body armor, armed with a rifle and a lot of ammo, but he did not open fire. And when he left the store, a former firefighter confronted him, pulled out his weapon, and held the man at gunpoint until police arrested him.
His intent was not to cause peace or comfort to anybody that was in the business here. In fact, he's lucky he's alive still, to be honest.
Springfield Police Lieutenant Mike Lucas. In Houston, they're searching for the guy who opened fire on a highway.
He actually pursued the vehicle as the vehicle rode down the hill, firing rounds at the vehicle as it rolled. At one point, the vehicle came to a stop. He got in front of the vehicle and fired rounds into the front windshield of the vehicle.
That's Assistant Police Chief Bobby Dobbins. He says both people in the car were killed. What may be a drug-related targeted shooting. In California, a man hospitalized since the deadliest wildfire in state history last year has died. Now the number dead is up to 86. This is Fox News.
Skies are clear at sunrise in Chicago, 63 degrees at 6:02. On AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Mayor Lightfoot will address the city's financial situation later this month. Mayor set to deliver what she called a primetime address, a speech August 29. Topics include how the city will deal with a huge hole in the 2020 city budget. Lightfoot has previously said she would be willing, if forced, to raise taxes. Crews battling a big blaze on Chicago's southwest side broke out early this morning in a two-story home in the 6200 block of South Artesian. Flames may have spread to two other buildings. A man wanted in two attacks last month on Chicago's north side is in custody. Adam Bramwell was arrested yesterday by U.S. Marshals near Houston. He was wanted for a violent July 13th Lincoln Park carjacking and a brutal knife attack days later on a recent DePaul University grad. President Trump told reporters he may commute the sentence of former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Illinois Democrat U.S. Senator Dick Durbin says he agrees the case should be looked at.
Governor Blagojevich, I think, was clearly demonstrated is guilty of wrongdoing in public office. He was convicted of that and sentenced and has paid a heavy price.
Current Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and the 5 Republican U.S. House members from Illinois believe the ex-governor should remain in prison. Bears dropped their preseason opener to the Carolina Panthers, 23-13. Nick Castellanos slugged 2 home runs as the Cubs clobbered the Reds in Cincinnati, 12-5. White Sox host the A's today, and the news is a service of T-Mobile. With data and texting included in over 200 countries and destinations, T-Mobile for Business keeps you connected at the corner coffee shop or cafe halfway around the world. Business is changing. Are you with them? Visit T-Mobile.com/business. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is thinking about moving again.
There has become this narrative that in the state of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, is going to challenge Ilhan Omar for the congressional race when she is up for re-election. Holy cow. Boy, I may have to move to Minnesota just to become a resident so I can vote for him.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
If you're a healthy, self-employed small business owner with income too high to qualify for an Obamacare subsidy, I have good news. Recent regulatory changes have created new, lower-priced health insurance options that are available to you right now. These policies include a nationwide PPO with access to Chicago's teaching hospitals like University of Chicago, Northwestern, Rush, and Lurie Children's Hospital. Did you know that a self-employed husband and wife team can purchase group health insurance that covers pre-existing conditions, even if they have no employees? Are you nearing the age of 65 and trying to figure out the Medicare maze? Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com as someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. We've all heard what the big banks have been doing. Time to call Townstone. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Great news, we have several new home mortgage programs. The first is a jumbo mortgage program that only requires a 15% down payment without any mortgage insurance. The second is a bank statement program which allows business owners and self-employed borrowers to finally qualify for a mortgage even if they don't show much income on their tax returns. Had a bankruptcy, short sale, or deed in lieu 12 months ago and want to purchase a new house? We have a program for you too. All programs have restrictions, so give me a call now at 312-896-2110. Remember, nobody values your home purchase business more than Townstone. I guarantee it. I own the company. That's 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Townstone Financial is licensed in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida. NMLS 136639. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender.
If the recent data breach has exposed your personal information, don't wait to get help. In case the info is used to steal your identity, get LifeLock with Norton and help protect your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10% on your first year.
6:07 AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Telemonte.
On Chicago's South Side, firefighters have extinguished a house fire at 62nd and Artesian. There's still a heavy fire department presence. The staging is nearby at 63rd and Western. Gurnee northbound 41 is still closed between Delaney Road and Kilbourne after an overnight wreck. Eden's outbound, there's a crash at Dempster, reported on the right shoulder. Kennedy inbound, traffic is tight Canfield to Foster. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Inbound Eisenhower has hoof-to-size delays, 25th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue, and Damon to Racine, 33 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 20 minutes from 95th. By Bishop Ford, a little sluggish Cottage Grove to the merge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny skies. It'll be a nice day. Our high today at 82. Clear tonight with a low 62. A blend of sun and clouds tomorrow, the high near 81. A shower or thunderstorm on Sunday with a high again 81. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
63 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Build business with Chamber 630, one of the largest business organizations in DuPage County. Marketing your business and connecting clients is their priority. Visit chamber630.com or call 630-968-4050 to join today.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy J this morning is Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. John, the ICE raid in Mississippi, the food processing plants down in small town Mississippi, 680 people arrested in Wednesday's raids. Some of the footnotes here. By yesterday morning, 300 had been released with notices to appear before immigration judges. We know what the percentage of those likely to show up for those hearings are. About 270 were released after being taken to a military hangar where they'd been brought, and 30 were released at the plants. A ICE spokesman said those released at the plants were let go due to quote-unquote humanitarian factors. He was not more specific than that. So,
with kids at home.
680 arrested, almost half released on their own recognizance, effectively. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Was this the place to make a splash with respect to ICE enforcement, immigration law enforcement? You think this was judicious in the wake of months of back and forth on border security, on immigration policy, on illegal immigrants, on economic migrants, on asylum seekers, on those who overstay their visas, on those who are been convicted of violent crimes while in this country illegally and still are able to come back and be released because of the Flores decree and so on and so forth. Was this the place to make your mark? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
You know, people always talk about, let's get rid of the drugs, or the drug dealers are on the corner. I always say, go after the banks that are washing the money, okay? When you're screaming about illegal immigration and all that, why don't they go after the employers? The employers are the ones that are driving it. This business about the Never Trumpers, part of the Never Trumper group is driven by Chamber of Commerce types, not the Chamber of Commerce, but industry that wants cheap labor or low-cost labor. And there's an advantage and opportunity for the Republican Party to chip away at the Democratic Party's hold on African Americans, but this kind of stuff, or the status quo, doesn't allow it. Now you see why, and I just think go after the employer. When you have huge look at Iowa, all those guys losing fingers and thumbs in the meat packing plants, boning out chucks.
Okay.
You got a lot of people working, and
but for whether it's employers or their employees who are in this country illegally but are otherwise law abiding, is this the place to make a splash, or would it have made more sense to be a little bit sensitive to the optics and focus on the predators here, focus on individuals we know, individuals who have been identified, individuals who've been through the justice system any number of times and still are able to exist in this country illegally, round up across the country people who are here who have committed violent felonies and been convicted of so doing, and eject them as a point to be made that if we have the political will to do something, we can remove people in this country who everybody says should be removed, but nobody's had the political will to do anything about it until me, say, as President Trump and his administration. Would that have been a better opening salvo?
To do it like more of a surgical.
Yes.
All right, but this way is a way to put business on notice that the federal government is going to enforce its own laws.
Yes.
And I think that's part of it too.
Well, in response to your heartless argument, we have the crying girl that is being amplified. And I don't mean to be dismissive of this little girl. You feel terrible for her, as you would feel terrible for any kid separated from their parents. But is this the basis on which we make public policy and which we make decisions on law enforcement? Here's the young girl.
I want to say something to my dad because Mr. not doing nothing to my dad. They're not doing nothing bad. So I want my dad to be free and everybody else. I don't know children are crying because of their dad and mom missing. I don't want my dad.
So you have that, and you have Fox News bring on Tom Homan, former acting ICE director, to respond to the crying girl. And here's Tom Homan.
I've done this for over 3 decades, and look, immigration enforcement is always controversial, is emotional, but you know what? The blame needs to be placed on her father. Her father came to this country illegally. He brought his child here illegally, whether he brought her here illegally or she was born here. He put his family in the position of being here illegally in violation of our laws. He should have took better action to protect his family. But let me explain what ICE does in an operation like this. If he's a sole care provider, he's a parent, there's no other parent available or any relative available, he will be released on an ankle bracelet to go home and take care of his child. No child can be left unattended. If there's another parent there, the dad may stay in custody. If there isn't, he'll be released. ICE, during their interviews, all these employees will ask them, remember the first question is going to ask them, is there children at home under the age of 18? Where are they? How can we contact them? So ICE does an awful lot to make sure these kids are taken care of. Again, it's sad. Separations happen all the time. It happens to U.S. citizen families when American citizens get arrested. They get separated. It's unfortunate. It's sad, but you can't blame the men and women of ICE who are enforcing laws enacted by Congress. And for Congressman Castro to come out and say this is about hate and a fear message to immigrants, he needs to read the very laws Congress enacted that makes it a crime to knowingly hire illegal aliens.
What about Homan's response? And I mean, Jesse Jackson and Sandy Jackson both went to prison. What about their kids? Should they have not been prosecuted?
When Jesse went to prison, I kind of cried a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
You want Jesse Jr. back? Is that what you said?
I was thinking of him as Senator Jackson. He could have been if it wasn't for that, thing with Blago.
So that was
seriously
was family separation, and then the courts, as Tom Homan was describing, how the courts actually do it with families.
Well,
they did the same thing with Jackson.
Here's what we do in the media: we focus on the child,
right,
crying, and even whoever the Fox News personality was feeling sad for the child and offered, something like, "Why are you doing this?" Because the child's crying.
Right.
In other words, change policy because the child's crying. Another example of the tyranny of tenderness all the time. They wouldn't be there if the employers weren't. People wouldn't be crossing the border, risking the lives of their children. Desperate, good people, hardworking people. If these employers weren't hanging these deals out for them, come and work. They want the work, But you know what? Every time they open a hotel in Chicago, I see people lined around the blocks, African-American people waiting, trying to get, mostly trying to get hired, doing something. So the business drives it. That's why people come, because they have work and they want work. And if my family had been born, if I had been born in Mexico rather than if my family born across the ocean, I bet you we would have crossed the border too if we had to. Because when you're poor, that's what you do.
Right. Well, yeah, I understand. I mean, I don't blame people seeking a better life.
I know you're not.
And I don't think anybody who wants, certainly very few, I won't speak in absolutes, but the energy is not behind demonizing people seeking a better life. It's ridiculous. It's the hysteria of the left.
That's Castro's nonsense.
Exactly. It's the race hustle by the race racketeers of the left. It's unbelievably tiresome. You feel for this little girl. You feel for families that want a better life. But the question is, what do adults do with respect to making decisions about how to organize a free society? You want open borders? Okay, well, that's on the table.
Right, but then show other people like Katie Steinle's dad crying.
Yeah.
Okay?
I mean,
like that's
right.
That's
all the Aviak families we talked to, Don Rosenberg. His unbelievably tragic story about the death of his son, unnecessary deaths and rapes and other violent crimes committed. I wish because we know this and because it's just so unnerving, the lack of political will to intercede on behalf of all peace-loving people in this country, whether they're here illegally or not, by removing violent predators who are here illegally. And we know that. So if not making this an example for employers, okay, fine, I understand that. I'd like to see something done in tandem with respect to violent criminals. You know, the way that the L.A. County State's Attorney's Office rounded up almost 24 MS-13 gangbangers and charged them with 7 murders. After they're convicted, get rid of them. Or after they're convicted and serve their sentences, to the extent that any of them will ever get out. But the point is, they're in our justice system. They're in our prisons. Send them back. They're out of here, and they're not coming back in. Can we be serious about that? Because I remember President Obama and I remember Democrats were very serious about that rhetorically, and the turnstile continues to spin.
Look, as long as large employers, and I recommend a story in the Chicago Tribune out now about one of the companies is based in, one of the chicken companies is based in
Park
Illinois,
Ridge.
in Park Ridge.
Yeah.
By a guy who's a billionaire who was born in a bungalow.
The
and worked his ass off. But,
parent company of this processing centers in
and
Mississippi.
they're not the Koch brothers. It's another Koch.
It's not Koch, right?
Koch,
It's not the Koch
right,
brothers,
whatever.
right?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a couple calls. John and Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan and Jen. Listen, I'm getting. I guess the term undocumented immigrant has come out of favor, so now they're just calling everyone immigrants. But that would just be like calling a burglar who breaks into your house a visitor.
Mm-hmm.
So how are we bastardizing the language?
That's part of it. That's what
Thanks,
the left
John.
does, John. That's what they do. They change the definition so that you can't. They put the parentheses around your thoughts and then cut them out so that whatever they want will happen.
Nicole Wallace on MSNBC this week.
Oh.
Trump calling for the extermination of Latinos.
She just came out and said something. Is she still working?
Of course.
She's not fired? Now,
Come on.
If I said something like that about Obama, you think I'd be around?
No.
Come on,
Chuck,
man.
also another luminary from the cable, the imaginary world of cable TV. You want to talk about the imaginary world online or of video games? This is an imaginary world too that Chuck Todd and Nicole Wallace are living in.
The president still has not said anything to reassure Hispanics in Texas or anywhere for that matter that they're safe or they're wanted in this country.
No, Chuck Todd's a former Democratic staffer, right?
Harkin, yeah.
Yeah.
But
so, Chuck, and you know what? The whole thing, I just got to say, it has nothing to do with substance, but if you're going to go bald, just quit doing the Caesar haircut because that undercuts your credibility.
He's Little Caesar. Pizza. Bruno in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, so 2 quick points. One, yes, now is the time, if only to show how broken the system is by the fact that half of them were released soon after being picked up. That's number one. Number two, the problem really is that there's a gigantic magnet in the United States, and the magnet consists of 2 parts. One is jobs, and 2 is publicly paid benefits. And those 2 have to be turned off. And the only way to turn off the former is to raid workplaces, to fine companies, and to criminally prosecute managers and business owners. That's the only way this is going to work.
Exactly.
All right,
That's it.
Bruno, thanks. Tony in Downers Grove.
Yeah, Dan, I'm kind of perplexed by your proposition because you seem to suggest that by doing a nice, neat little let's do this first, that the left and all the talking points are going to disappear when you go back and go after other illegal immigrants who are working in these places. So I don't think doing anything differently would have any other different outcome because the talking points are going to remain the same.
Well, I understand the talking points are going to remain. Thanks for the call, Tony. I understand the talking points are going to remain the same for the race racketeers that we were previously describing, the POTUS candidates, the Socialist Spice Girls, the Democrat Socialist Party. I'm talking about people who are persuadable on the topic.
Well,
I'm talking about people who are supporters of 80% of what Trump wants to do on the border. And I'm also talking about, frankly, there is a prioritization. I want repeat violent predators who are in this country illegally rounded up and ejected from the country first. There's only so much in terms of human resources. There's only so much mind share that can be devoted to dealing with whatever the number truly is, 12 to 20 million people here illegally. So let's rank order prioritize the people that are here illegally and should no longer be here.
But you know
and violent criminals. This is what everybody has talked about, including President Trump. So prove up on that topic because it's the most important cohort of illegal immigrants to remove. That's why.
Kristen Gillibrand will hold this child, just like Time Magazine held the last child, and make it a cudgel to beat Trump in the suburbs with the white, guilty, well-off mommies. That's what this is. That's what, I mean, I'm not undercutting your argument.
No, I hear what you're saying.
I see how it will go. And that's unfortunate, but that's how it goes.
Kristen Gillibrand's educating white women about their privilege got off to a bit of a slow start in Youngstown, Ohio, with a bunch of blue-collar working women. Looking at each other like, what the hell is she talking about?
Right. Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Is your old AC a clunker? Does it clunk, leak, or make weird noises? Could be it's on its way out. Luckily, the highly trained techs at your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning will replace your AC with new top-tier equipment. And isn't that what you want to hear? Right now, get big savings on a complete cooling system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hi, I'm Milo Ventimiglia.
And I'm Amanda Seyfried.
Now, meet the dog who will show the world how to be human.
Set me free.
Enzo is more than just a dog. He is an old soul.
He's a spiritual being.
I think audiences are going to pick up the importance of family, focusing on those things that are giving back to you in life.
The most emotional things are the things that stay with you and teach you can get through anything.
Call it fate, call it luck. All I knew was I was meant to be their dog.
The Art of Racing in the Rain. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Now playing.
For more than 50 years, Mueller CPA, a certified public accounting and business advisory firm, has been serving clients in Chicagoland. Dave Nissen, Mueller's managing partner, is here to explain Mueller CPA's history, journey, and opportunity.
Thanks, Dan. Our firm was started by Al Mueller as a one-person CPA firm in 1968. Through growth and partnerships, Mueller CPA has blossomed from a regional firm to an organization that provides services worldwide. Mueller is a reflection of our years of listening and caring for our clients, and we would not be here today if it wasn't for our professionals and support personnel. We value the human side of our business and recognize it as being the most important element of our success. We are growing, we are hiring, and we welcome your interest in our firm.
If you are looking for your first opportunity or your forever career, join an award-winning team that cares about you. Visit the career page at MuellerCPA.com or call Dave directly at 630-524-5274.
I'm doing it. Justin's doing it. My sister's doing it. A lot of people are taking Balance of Nature. Why? Well, it's an easy and convenient way to get the fruits and veggies you need on a daily basis. Because at the minute, we're not eating enough fruits and veggies at all those summer barbecues where there's beer and brats and hot dogs. Balance of Nature is just that, easy and convenient. And if you listen to this station, you've heard people talk about how Balance of Nature has changed their lives. And it could do the same for you. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. Experience the difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 30% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. You will also receive an extra $10 off on any additional set of fruits and veggies that you purchase. This summer special offer will expire soon, so do not wait. Call 800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. Use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and John Cass in for Amy this morning, and boy, this Baltimore Sun editorial is really a piece of work. A bunch of MAGA supporters removed 12 tons of trash from the streets of West Baltimore, and the Baltimore Sun criticizes the organizer of the effort. We're going to discuss that, among other things, with, oh yes, The first ladies of punditry, Diamond and Silk, join us at 6:36. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 62 degrees. Mayor Lightfoot addresses the city's financial situation later this month. Mayor's set to deliver what she called a primetime address on August 29. Topics will include how the city will deal with a huge hole in Chicago's 2020 city budget. Lightfoot has said previously she will be forced to raise taxes. Crews are battling a fire on Chicago's southwest side. Flames may have spread to two buildings after breaking out in a two-story home in the 6200 block of South Artesian. Stock futures are down this morning as investors grow less optimistic about a solution to the U.S.-China trade war. Dow futures are off around 100. A reward going up for information leading to the capture of an inmate believed to have killed a Tennessee state employee. The reward for West Tennessee State Penitentiary escapee Curtis Watson is now $53,000. Tennessee Bureau of Investigations Director David Roush.
We need Tennesseans as well as our partners throughout the bordering states to be vigilant on this. He could be outside of Tennessee.
Watson escaped on Wednesday. Police say a man is in custody after he caused a scare at a Walmart in Springfield, Missouri. Lieutenant Mike Lucas said he had the potential and capability to harm.
He walked in here heavily armed with body armor on, in military fatigues, and caused a great amount of panic inside the store.
The man, believed to be in his 20s, was carrying a rifle when that man in body armor walked out an emergency door, and off-duty firefighter legally held him at gunpoint until police responded. Federal government this morning says the entire state of Illinois, all 102 counties, is in line for farm help. The move opens up a path for more help for farmers and businesses that rely on farms. The USDA says the unprecedented flooding during the spring planting season landed the state declaration. A man who was wanted in two attacks last month in Chicago on the north side is in custody. Adam Bramwell was arrested yesterday, pulled off a Greyhound bus by U.S. Marshals near Houston. Bramwell was wanted in a violent July 13th Lincoln Park carjacking. He's also a person of interest in a knife attack several days later on a DePaul grad. Bears dropped their preseason opener to the Carolina Panthers 23-13. Nicholas Castellanos had 2 home runs, and the Cubs win over the Reds 12-5. White Sox host the A's later today. The news service of LifeLock with Norton. Are you one of the millions who had their information exposed in the recent breach? Be one of the millions who choose LifeLock with Norton to help protect their devices and identity. Join now at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK. Save 10% on your first year. 6:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
With all the noise and political spin of the news cycle, it's easy for the things that really matter to get lost. Sources with knowledge cuts through all the clutter to bring you biting commentary on the week's events. This Sunday at 3 p.m., your hosts Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser bring you insight on politics and policy, as well as culture, sports, food, and everything else you need, so you can understand what's happened this week. It's Sources with Knowledge this Sunday at 3 p.m. right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. Mike Andriano of Trinity Holistic Health Center. We live in interesting times. The world seems to make less sense every year. More adults and children struggle with anxiety and sleep issues. Over the past couple of years, more than half of the clients coming into my office report poor sleep or problems with anxiety. Those who suffer with these issues know that they impact every aspect of their life and seem like torture. Both issues are signs of deeper health problems. Inflammation drives a process that causes anxiety and poor sleep. Anti-inflammatory diets, herbs, and even medications don't address the root cause of inflammation, but we do. My practice at Trinity Holistic Health Center concentrates on finding and fixing the root cause of your health problem, not just covering up the symptoms.
If this sounds like you, go to lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFEDOC and learn how you can get help to end your anxiety and get a restful night's sleep once and for all. That's lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFEDOC. Life DOC. Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com. Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
6:35 AM 560 traffic center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
Southside 63rd Street is closed between Campbell and Western after a house fire at 62nd and Artesian. The Aidens is clear for now. Kennedy inbound. Traffic is tight Canfield to Nagel. We're looking at a 3 or 4 minute delay. And on Eisenhower, traffic is slow. Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue and Demon to the Burn Circle. 35 minutes, 390 to downtown. Up at 31. Mount Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is good. Bishop Ford, a little congested approaching the Verge. Northbound Tri-State has a slow pocket from the Reagan tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are okay right now. No delays to report on I-80. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and nice day ahead, high 82. Currently 63. Your next news update is at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan. And in for Amy this morning is John Cash, Chicago Tribune columnist extraordinaire. John, Oprah has spoken, so everybody quiet down.
Did she ask for a piece of pie?
She imparting her wisdom and raising issues of
I remember
moral clarity.
I remember when she went to the White House with Gail. They were having a little thing with Michelle. She was a little upset with her.
Mm-hmm.
And Gail said, we sat there for an hour, Michelle talking about the pie, but she never offered us a piece of pie.
It's fascinating. That's a great story.
It is.
I mean,
it tells you everything you need to know.
Well, Oprah, the Oracle of Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
on the state of play in our culture.
I think what people are missing is a core moral center. We've lost what the center is. That's why I actually believe storytelling is a form of a new religion, because it's the place where people can gather and be inspired and see themselves and get filled. You know, churches used to do that. The storytelling in the church used to do that. It was a central place you could come to, and there was a core center of values. About a way of living and a way of being in the world. So until we can return to that, however that is, in whatever form, we will continue to be lost.
I'll tell you what, nobody does a better Marianne Williamson impersonation than Oprah Winfrey.
I was just thinking of Dark Crystals and Sinister Forces.
So we used to have
You've heard
churches.
some
We still do.
Yeah, I go to one.
Yeah,
You go to one.
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive we still do.
Actually, we're in the fasting period now for the Assumption of the Virgin Mary, both Catholic and Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, it would be August 15th.
15th, correct.
Yeah.
And then the Croatians are going to cook some lamb on August 15th.
But it's worth noting, though, Oprah Winfrey seems to be suggesting, since churches no longer provide this important storytelling function,
She does.
right the transvestite storytelling hours. That's replacing the churches, drag queen storytelling hours, right?
Right. We
Yeah,
should
that's
set up
sure.
a virtue signal with Oprah.
Sure, that's going to address
You've got
that.
a car. You've got a car. You've got a car.
It's going to address that moral failing that she's talking about. And then there's this. I mean, this is remarkable. So inspired by the back and forth between President Trump and Elijah Cummings, this guy named Scott Pressler, who is a Trump supporter, proud Trump supporter, and has got quite an online following, he organized a cleanup of West Baltimore. 300 volunteers on August 5th took to the streets of Northwest Baltimore, cleaning up trash from alleyways in an Americans Helping Americans event organized by this conservative activist named Scott Pressler. 12 hours, 12 tons of trash collected. I'm a big Trump supporter, but I wanted people to know that's not the reason we're coming here today. It's not a pro-Trump rally, and it's not an anti-Cummings rally. This is truly the community coming together. The response from the Baltimore Sun to this event? Whatever he says his motives were, Scott Pressler's presence in Baltimore reinforces the tired image that poor people in the city can't take care of their own neighborhoods. I mean, the left is so up their own hindquarters. The entire proposition of the left, of identity politics, of the white wokesters like Christian Gillibrand, the entire proposition is no minority can survive and succeed without me, the white liberal, intervening to run your life for you. That's their entire offering. Everything. Free this and free that, and a government program for that, and we're going to intercede here, and we're going to give you... That's the entire basis of their philosophy.
Full disclosure, the Baltimore Sun is part of the Tribune Company empire.
Yeah, I wouldn't brag about that.
And the editorial board, and I'm on the editorial board of the Tribune. I don't know if we go out of our way to criticize our brethren.
Well, that's what you have me here for.
So I'm just watching you while I'm tweeting out a picture of Rod Blagojevich.
By the way, Scott Pressler tweeted out a fun picture, too. We found this newspaper while cleaning up trash in West Baltimore. Washington Post, Obama makes history, 11 years old. Isn't that great? Don't tell me that God doesn't have a sense of humor. All right, for more on this, two ladies also with a sense of humor, the first ladies of punditry. They are Diamond and Silk, Trump supporters, hosts of The Viewer's View, contributors to Fox Nation, stars of the documentary Dummycrats. Ladies, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us.
How about the Americans Helping Americans cleanup event in Baltimore, and what some of the reaction from the left has been, as we were just discussing?
Well, I like the fact that Americans are helping Americans. What I don't understand, with them getting, what Elijah Cummings getting $16 billion in taxpayer dollars, why didn't somebody think to buy trash bags and decon for the rats 11 years ago? I don't get that. I don't understand that. You have to understand that this is the way the left operate. They want to keep black people stuck in the mindset of either being on drugs, living in trash, living in filth, living in squalor, because they think that's the norm. Mm-hmm. They think that that's okay. They think that that's where the mindset is at. And what they're upset about is that people are getting out of that mindset. I don't have to live like this. I can think for myself. I don't have to live in squalor. Where is the money? And it's going to have black people questioning these black governmental officials that's just skimming from the top and leaving people left at the bottom. So that's what's wrong with the left. So what they will do is they will demonize whoever's trying to do something, make them look bad, ostracize, criticize, and stigmatize them. This is what I say to the American people, keep it going. But here's the deal. Americans, I understand they should clean up their communities, but where is all of this money going that's supposed to facilitate that and make sure that that happens on a weekly basis? Because we have something in this country called sanitation, where the trash, people come and pick up the trash or whatever. What happened to that, and why is certain parts of Baltimore being neglected?
That's right.
We need to take a good look at that.
Not only Baltimore, but a lot of the inner and urban cities, especially Chicago, and a lot more other places, Detroit. You know, this is being overran with all of this poverty. It's been here for a long, very long time. And then the despicable rats that's running around in these doggone cities, it do not make any sense. Nobody had enough sense to purchase any decon to kill the rats with $16 billion. I mean, the rats are running around like puppies, and it's like they are becoming generational rats. It's disgusting, and it's time to speak out about it. I'm glad we have a president that did not mind poking the bear and saying, this is what's going on. Look at the corruption behind the money and see exactly what's going on. And people are speaking up. People are happy about it. And we have to continue to drive the message home so people can see this is what's been keeping you stuck in the same rut for all of these years. And you keep voting for the same people that's doing it to you.
Wait, ladies, can you please give Elijah Cummings a break here? Because
a break?
You ask me, no, he don't need a break. What he need to do is retire. If he want a break, he need to retire.
That's right.
You know, Elijah Cummings is not mentally or physically fit to serve in our U.S. Congress. Yet they got him out there as if he's the savior of the day. He's no savior. He's no king. He's a failed congressman that has failed his district.
That's right.
And the people that live in his district.
That's right.
Shame on him.
Wait a minute.
That's right.
He's married to Maya Rockmore Cummings. She's got a
I
foundation.
don't care if he was married to Mary Magdalene. The deal is that he needs to step down.
That's right.
Because he's $16 billion. I'm talking about billion, B with the capital B. $16 million. I think it's about 600 and some thousand people that stay in Baltimore. That's if you break that down, that's $20-some million per person. And you mean to tell me people living in squalor like that? No. And you can. I don't care if you black, white, or pinstripe. You can call out if you are a government official.
That's right.
You work for the people. We gonna call you out when you're not doing right by the people.
And just because you speak facts don't mean that you are on attack. You are speaking the facts about what's really going on. I don't care what color you are. There's a lot of Democrat run-down cities with Nancy Pelosi, her being a white woman, down to Elijah Cummings, him being a black man. Democrat-ran inner cities are being run down to the ground, have been run down to the ground. They go out here and they speak all of these promises. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And the only time you hear them speaking is when they need a vote. After you give them their vote, then they're gone somewhere.
And wait a minute, and a newspaper from 11 years ago out there in the trash pile. Yeah, so that means that ain't nobody been doing nothing. Everybody been getting their kickbacks and their paddywhacks, and the people are getting left behind, and I'm tired of it. And I'm also tired of these white liberals thinking that it's okay for black people, mostly black people, to live in squalor and live in filth. And then they turn a blind eye like that's how we supposed to live. I think every black American needs to stand up. They need to denounce these liberals. They need to denounce the Democrat Party and switch their party to Republican to vote for President Trump in 2020.
Well, he seemed to be the only one caring about black people.
Yeah,
what about the liberal white ladies in the suburbs that feel so guilty about what's happening?
Liberal white ladies in the suburbs, and they think it's okay for black people to live in squalor with rats running across their heads, then they need to be denounced too.
So I mean, I gotta say though that there's reinforcements on the way. You heard last week in the Dem Socialist debate night 2 that Senator Christian Gillibrand is embarking on a White Women of Privilege educational tour. So you know that'll help. She's going to educate white women about their privilege. So you think that's going to provide some benefits?
What about some of these people like the Oprah Winfrey that have black privilege, like the Jay-Z that have black privilege in this country? It's crazy to me. You know what's crazy? And I don't get caught up in it. I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't want nobody boxing me in and stereotyping me because of something that's happened in our past. We were all dealt held the same hand when we got here.
Right.
So now let's clean up the mess and continue moving forward.
That's
but
right.
you can't do that when somebody want to still paint you as if you're a slave.
That's
still
right.
think that you can't think for yourself. Still think it's okay for you to live in squatter. Still think it's okay for you to work for slave wages. Telling you that they're going to give you everything when they're not going to give you nothing. It's not going to be the very best. It's going to be the very less. I'm tired of it and everybody else is tired of it. It's time for America to stand up against these liberals, against the Democrat Party. We don't need your reparations. Black people need to be liberated from the Democrat Party.
And one more thing you got to remember is that the Democrats are the party of segregation. This is what they do. They're used to segregating people by groups, by color, by race. This is exactly what they do. It's nothing new. What we got to do is stop falling for the okie doke and make sure we get out and vote for President Donald J. Trump.
I got to ask you, I've been covering politics for a lot of years, for many centuries, and on election day and the day before, in the black communities in Chicago, the aldermen and the committeemen pull up trucks, or used to, and hand out hams, and they hand out turkeys, and they hand out goodies to people. Doesn't that work anymore?
That's cool. They used to come pick you up in a van, and once they took you to vote, then they would go and get you a hamburger.
A two for two.
And send you on back home. But them days is over with. You can keep your little burgers. You can keep your turkey, because now President Trump got this economy booming. People have jobs. They can buy their own burgers and turkeys. People can think for themselves. They need to get out and vote.
That's
vote
right.
against. Listen, when you vote for these liberals, look at how you're living. Do you want to continue to live like that? Because had President Trump not shed a light on it, those people would still be living in all of that filth. Nobody would have went down there and picked up the trash. $16 billion. Nobody had sense enough to get trash bags and get some decon to kill the rest. That tells you the type of thinking that these congressmen are doing. They need to be voted out, or they need to step down.
That's right.
I love it. I hope Diamond and Silk get on tour the way Kristen Gillibrand is post haste. We need this conversation in urban centers, no question.
And
Diamond and also too, maybe you could.
Those white ladies.
You could
feel
do
guilty about being rich.
It could be like a Sarah Weddington versus Phyllis Schlafly, Diamond and Silk versus Christian Gillibrand, debates around the country, college campuses, suburban communities. I love it. That would be good. Diamond and Silk, Trump supporters, the hosts of The Viewer's View, contributors of Fox Nation, stars of the documentary Democrats. Ladies, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
And they joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Air travel up 5%. Keurig Dr. Pepper shares surge after quarterly results. Smokey the Bear turns 75. Those stories next.
I'm Bobby Richards with today's 1 Minute Money Report. The New York Times recently reported on an unusual way Americans are making money. They found over 10,000 people who broke the golden rule of investing and became millionaires. The stories included people from all walks of life, including writers, professional bowlers, and blues guitarists, even a set of grandparents.
We broke the golden rule of investing and turned $16,000 into $2 million.
And here's one person who agrees with what they're doing, Warren Buffett. He says blindly following Wall Street's golden rule is just protection against ignorance. And Alexander Green, perhaps the top stock picker in America, told his 140,000 followers that if they break this rule, they can retire on just one investment. His video immediately went viral. You can view it for yourself at onestockretirement.com and decide if you should break the golden rule too. Again, that's onestockretirement.com. If your retirement isn't what you want it to be, go see what 10,000 people have already used to become millionaires.
Despite higher fares on some major airlines, passenger traffic worldwide rose by a solid 5% in June. An airline trade group also reporting nearly 85% of all available seats were filled. Shares of Keurig Dr. Pepper jumped more than 4% yesterday after the company reported its second quarter earnings, beating targets. Shares have risen 19% so far this year after last year's merger of Keurig Green Mountain and Dr. Pepper Snapple. Smokey the Bear turned 75 this week. The longest-running public service campaign in the United States has raised public awareness of how to prevent forest fires. Thank you, Smokey. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
If your business depends on a Sprinter or light-duty diesel, you can't afford to have just anyone care for your major investment and important equipment. From a single vehicle to an entire fleet, depend on the experts at Remke's Garage to fix your Sprinter, Duramax, Cummins, or Power Stroke vehicle. Only go to the experts at Remke's Garage. Remke's doesn't just fix problems, they find solutions. Remke's goal is making sure you never lose a dollar of business. That's why owner Joe Remke will customize a maintenance plan specific to your unique vehicle. Remke's Garage specializes in Sprinter and light-duty diesel vehicles. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty on all parts. They'll pick up, deliver, and offer you a loaner vehicle for free. Go to remkesgarage.com to schedule your free maintenance plan consultation. That's Remke's, REMKES, garage.com. Be sure to mention AM 560 when you do. Again, Remke's, spelled REMKES, garage.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter.
Either way,
the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've been holding off on buying vitamins because I figure, you know what? All the vitamins I need are going to be in the fruits and vegetable supplements. I'm not going to bore you to tears with recanting all my health issues and what have you, but I will tell you this. There's already improvement, and it's a really amazing transition. It's really nice to get hooked up with an organization of people that understand where real health comes from. This will make a great commercial, I'm telling you. Yeah. Now.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 30% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. You will also receive an extra $10 off on any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. This summer special will expire, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
If you've been in business more than 20 minutes, you've probably printed your logo on all kinds of promotional products. We all know promotional products work because they're everywhere from sales meetings and corporate events to trade shows. Ever wondered why or how to best use promotional products to grow your business? Let us show you today for free. We're 4imprint, promotional product experts at your service. We're giving away an ebook called Promotional Products Work, absolutely free, to everyone who texts RADIO to 88988. At 4imprint, we make your logo look perfect on thousands of promotional items. With our 100% guarantee, it'll be right the first time, on time, every time. Your free ebook will reveal valuable insights that can attract new customers, build your brand, help your cause, or simply grow your business. Get the ebook Promotional Products Work absolutely free by texting RADIO to 88988. That's RADIO to 88988.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, John? Want to have a catch? You don't like it?
God, I'd like to kick them with a special purpose.
Sox and Yankees next August, Dyersville, Iowa, Field of Dreams game.
You know what? Nostalgia is death for a columnist and also for a sport.
Are you kidding? This is going to be great.
Come on.
You're not going to this?
The EPL opens up soccer in Great Britain, the United States, the MLS. Let's go, baby.
Oh, my God.
Let's bleep and go.
It's just that thank you for exemplifying how soccer poisons the mind.
Can I have a catch?
Joe Jackson's going to appear out of a cornfield in Iowa.
What's next? Church of Baseball stuff where Kevin Costner talks about wearing women's lingerie?
All right, enough of you.
Pitching?
It's time for Fox News.
Democrats aren't going to get their way in the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Republican leader says he will not bring senators back during this August recess to consider new gun control laws. Mitch McConnell says they'll consider them next month, adding he wants it to be bipartisan, telling WHAS in Louisville.
But what we can't do is fail to pass something.
Now, the NRA opposes the growing call by Democrats to pass a House-approved bill to extend background checks. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave calling new gun control proposals soundbite solutions. NRA President Wayne LaPierre issued a statement saying they would not have prevented the horrific tragedies in El Paso and Dayton. Rather, he says they would make law-abiding Americans less safe and less able to defend themselves and loved ones, and that they failed to address the root of the problem, confront criminal behavior, or make communities safer. LaPierre has reportedly had conversations with President Trump in recent days, telling him the proposals would not be popular with its voters. Dave?
Rachel, 3 police officers are recovering in New Jersey the day after they were shot in Irvington by a man with a rifle wearing a bulletproof vest who was in a street shooting randomly, then killed an unarmed man. Now, that gunman was also killed when cops fired back.
It was like automatic gunshots, like a game, the ops game was shooting.
Was panic at another Walmart. Days after the El Paso massacre, a man walked into a store in Springfield, Missouri wearing body armor, carrying a rifle. He didn't shoot anyone, but he walked out. And a former firefighter confronted him and held the guy at gunpoint until police arrested him.
Hopefully my actions prevented something like El Paso from happening.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said she wants to wait on impeachment. But Jerry Nadler, the Democratic chair of the Judiciary Committee, who thinks President Trump obstructed justice, says his investigation is a formal impeachment proceeding, telling CNN.
Hopefully by the end of the year, vote articles of impeachment to the House floor, or we won't.
Now, the president has called the investigations a hoax, a scam, a witch hunt. This is Fox News.
Beautiful blue skies and sunshine, 62 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we are following on WIND Chicago. Mayor Lightfoot will address the city's financial situation later this month. The Chicago mayor set to deliver a primetime speech August 29. Mayor Lightfoot has previously said she will be forced to raise taxes. Federal government says the entire state of Illinois is in line for farm help. The USDA this week declaring all 102 counties in Illinois as ag disasters. A man who was wanted in 2 attacks last month on Chicago's north side is in custody. Adam Bramwell was arrested yesterday by marshals near Houston, Texas. He's wanted for a violent July 13 carjacking in Lincoln Park and a brutal knife attack several days later on a DePaul University grad in the same neighborhood. President Trump telling reporters he may commute the sentence of former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Illinois Democrat Senator Dick Durbin agrees the case should be looked at.
Governor Blagojevich, I think, was clearly demonstrated is guilty of wrongdoing in public office. He was convicted of that and sentenced and has paid a heavy price.
Current Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and 5 Republican U.S. House members from Illinois also believe the ex-governor should remain in prison. Chicago Public Schools planning a multi-million-dollar investment of taxpayer money into neighborhood schools. The district's budget proposes $619 million in what they call critical building improvements. Bears dropped their NFL preseason opener to the Panthers, 23-13. Cubs clobber the Reds in Cincinnati 12-5. Sox host the A's later today. The news, a service of LifeLock with Norton. If the recent data breach has exposed your personal info, don't wait for your ID to potentially be stolen. Get help now. LifeLock with Norton helps protect your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10% on your first year. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains where the left has gone.
There was a division last night between, I would say, close to communist left and socialist left. The claim that the Republicans have moved right and it's not that the Democrats have moved left is so absurd that I've never really addressed it. But the absurd is now the norm.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If the recent data breach has exposed your personal info, don't wait for your ID to potentially be stolen. Get help now. LifeLock with Norton helps protect your identity and devices. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10% on your first year.
7:07 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
South side 63rd Street remains closed between Campbell and Western after a house fire at 62nd and Artesia. Kennedy inbound delays start at Canfield. It's 27 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 15 from Montrose, 11 on the Express. Outbound 26 minutes to the airport. Westbound 190. A little heavy going into O'Hare. And eastbound it's heavy coming out. Messy Coleman to Manheim. Edens is okay. Eisenhower. 36 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 31. About Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford with just slight delays approaching Merge. North on Tri-State. Traffic is stop and go from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today mostly sunny. Look for a very nice afternoon. Our high today at 82. Clear tonight and a low 62. Partly sunny for tomorrow. The high near 81. Sunday partly sunny. Could pick up a shower or thunderstorm. The high on Sunday at 81. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine 62 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Yeah, special edition of Campus Beat.
You're singing that song, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you
No, I'm not. I can't go that high. That's our trusty technical producer, Justin, there. But special edition, we got a new group to introduce you to. And, John, you still have a son in college.
Yeah.
So maybe he can open up a chapter of Young Americans Against Socialism at his campus.
Like it.
Morgan Zegers is the founder of Young Americans Against Socialism. Seems like a timely and aptly named organization, particularly on a college campus, but not limited there. And she joins us now. Morgan, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So the genesis of Young Americans Against Socialism.
All right. So we are rooted in the idea that those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That's what's happening right now in my generation. We were not properly taught the failures of socialism, the dangers of socialism, why capitalism, even with its flaws, is still the greatest option for a country to achieve success and freedom and equality. And so now a majority of young Americans, this is crazy, would choose socialism over capitalism, and that puts the future of the country at risk. That's why I founded Young Americans Against Socialism.
And you've actually run for office already, even at your young age. And what was that experience like, and how does that inform focusing on college campuses?
Well, so I ran for upstate New York, a state assembly district there. And I'll tell you, in New York State, it's pretty bad. It's very progressive. Everything's rooted in New York City policy. And so 1 million people in the last 10 years have fled New York State to go to places like Texas, places like Florida, where they can find job opportunities, where they won't be taxed to death, where it's just overall a nice place to live with such less corruption, thanks to Governor Cuomo. So I ran for state assembly. It was a great experience, but I'll tell you, when I did an interview with the local paper for an endorsement from them, they asked me, they said, Morgan, you've said before that you don't like socialism. Isn't your family a military family? Isn't your dad a colonel? Doesn't that mean you're on military health care? Isn't that socialist? And that exposed to me, they are not taking this seriously. The mainstream media is not taking the rise of socialism in my generation especially seriously. And it's a problem. And to me, it was a slap in the face that they would compare my dad's service on 9/11 and in Operation Iraqi Freedom to socialism and what he got for that.
The
It's
media,
crazy.
you know, those newspaper reporters and editorial boards. When you have you have like parties or group things, you know, like events for your group, I'd suggest you could have like no toilet paper at the party, and also maybe barbecue some zoo animals, like Venezuelan style.
No, you got to make sure that you have culturally appropriate vegetables and no garbage
No
disposals. too.
tapirs,
Yeah,
no
right.
zebras on spits.
Well, so where does it stand? Where does the organization stand in terms of getting chapters organized on college campuses and getting young people involved?
Yeah, so actually, we are a lean and mean operation. There's a lot of really great campus organization groups. There's Young Americans for Liberty, Young Americans for Freedom. There's Turning Point USA, which Charlie Kirk and Bill Montgomery, the founders, are from Chicago area. So it's kind of cool that I'm talking to you guys now. And Bill Montgomery from Turning Point is actually helping us found Young Americans for Socialism. So we've got a really great team. But this is not about campus organization, because those guys are taking care of it. This is a social media organization because 90% of young Americans have a social media account. We are acknowledging 50% or more of young Americans want socialism. 90% of them have a social media account. We're combining that. So we brought our top-notch media team, our top-notch production team. We travel the country telling the stories of people who have escaped socialism, because it's those emotional stories that really get to my generation. You can't just hit them with facts. You can't tell them the minimum wage if we raise it to $15 an hour. It's just not going to be sustainable. They don't really take that in. They take emotion. And so I am adding emotion to our playbook by traveling the country, filming these powerful emotional stories of people who have lived through the hell of socialism. We put them into short 2-minute videos on social media, and they go viral. reaching millions of people in my generation, exposing them to the truth. That's why it's lean and mean. Social media advertising is very, very cost effective compared to having to organize on campus, compared to having to rally all the students together. We are reaching the people that need to see this educational content.
Why does emotion work so well? We talked about that. Why does it work so well to your generation as opposed to
Well,
facts?
I think definitely, I mean, they definitely lean left, and the left has always used emotion. If we consider what happens when we think of the border crisis, for them, all they say is you're separating families, and that's bad. And that is their talking point. They don't want to talk about anything else regarding the border. But I'll tell you, when I went to American University in D.C. for my bachelor's degree, I had a microeconomics professor, and he was the only professor that I had where I literally could not tell what side he lied on. For every other professor, I knew they were leftist. But this guy, I really respected him because I didn't know what way he leaned. And if anything, I feel like he was more libertarian. But he looks at my class. This is before the 2016 primaries with Hillary versus Bernie. And he goes, okay, class, we're going to talk about the minimum wage today. How many people will be voting for Bernie Sanders in the upcoming primary? And the whole class of about 200 people raises their hand. They're like hooting and hollering. And he goes, okay, well, Bernie Sanders wants a $15 minimum wage. We're going to break that down. And he spent the next hour breaking down what happens when you raise the minimum wage $1 above the market level. What happens when you raise it $2? What happens when you double the minimum wage right now and make it $15 an hour? And basically, he showed it results in economic catastrophe. He then looks at my class after an hour of teaching this, and he goes, okay, class, who is still going to be voting for Bernie Sanders? The whole class, again, rises up. They're like, woohoo, that's us. We're going to be doing it. Everybody, it was almost like they had smirks on their faces, knowing that he just portrayed that his policy won't work, and they were still going to support him. And that is the lesson that I take into this when I talk about making these videos for YAF.
Since this is a social media organization, you're making these videos and they're being viewed by many. How have you been treated so far by the big tech companies? Have there been any censorship issues to date?
Well, actually, we launch next Thursday on August 15th, so we haven't experienced anything yet. We did really well. We posted last week a teaser just saying, this August 15th, we are going to launch Young Americans Against Socialism. And then I don't know if you guys saw this. We posted a video of the Democratic Socialists of America conference.
Oh, yeah. We've been enjoying that all week. Oh, yeah.
Yep, so that spread like wildfire. Our media director, what happened, he texted us at 1 a.m. and he goes, guys, we need to tweet this out and spread it like wildfire. And that's exactly what happened. In 24 hours, we got 1 million organic views. No paid advertising. Just Americans were concerned by what they saw there. They shared it. It went viral. It had 1 million people see it in 24 hours. We got on Fox News, Fox Business. We got on
concerned and wildly entertained by it as well.
But you just refer to us as guys?
Oh, please don't use gendered language. That's great.
Sorry, comrade.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Well, you have to excuse John. He has sensory issues, and this chatter makes it very difficult for him to focus and
clapping
concentrate.
My hands. Can you see me?
Yeah. So this social media organization. So you were talking about the emotional appeal. I like what you said at the beginning too. There's some people that are older don't have an appreciation for what young people have never been exposed to in terms of the arguments, the history they haven't lived through, and so forth. What is it that you find to be so far in your conversations and as you've talked about putting this organization together? Yes, the emotional appeal, but how do you speak about the free enterprise system? How do you speak in terms of promoting excellence that you think resonates best with young people, because it could be instructive for older people as well?
Yeah, I definitely think the idea of the American dream is being messed up right now by the far left. They are what is a really good book that I read recently. I can't remember the name of it, but it talks about how when socialists come to power, they have to redefine terms that we have always used. And so recently, Bernie Sanders has been doing this, Senator Sanders. He posted a video, and it was a bunch of people saying, are you really free if you have to pay a lot for your health care? Are you really free if you have student loan debt? Are you really free if? And I was like, yes, You are still free. Thank you, but no, do not try and tell people that they are not free because they have to pay for their own thing. They are making a new narrative for what capitalism is versus socialism, and they're basically saying you have a hard life right now because you have to make decisions for yourself and you have to pay for your own thing. You have to give me power so that I will handle it. I'll let the government take it over so it's off your shoulders, and then you will be free. That's not freedom, but they are selling that freedom to our young Americans, and that's why they think capitalism doesn't bring freedom. They are redefining words we have always used. That's why socialists always come to power, and this is why it's important to understand historical context. Today, socialists will say, oh, no, we're not socialists. We're democratic socialists. It's totally different. You still have your vote and your voice with us. Well, guess what? Venezuela was a democratic socialist country then because it democratically elected two socialist presidents that led the country turning from a democracy to a socialist dictatorship in a matter of decades. And even crazier, guess what happened when Fidel Castro came to power in Cuba? Right after he came to power, he went to the United States, met with President Nixon, looked at the U.S. press, and said, I'm not a communist. I'm not a Marxist. I will not be implementing communism in Cuba. In fact, I am a democratic humanitarian. But at the same time as he is saying this stuff with these beautiful words, he is in Cuba having Che Guevara and the most radical minds, communist, Marxist, socialist minds put together the layout for the future of the Cuban economy. And look how that turned out.
Yeah,
so it's very important to pay attention to wording, and they're doing it right now in today's 21st century politics.
And it's very important to connect the dots, which you're doing a nice job of, and that's exactly what needs to happen. And I wonder then, too, the storytelling that will happen. Will these be stories that contemplate the full range of the cultural Marxist agenda? Because I know there's a tendency among conservatives, some conservatives just focus on economic issues and the Green New Deal and Medicare for all and so forth. But the cultural Marxist agenda, too, with respect to men competing in women's sports, the whole trans ideology and so forth, that also something that will be contemplated by this organization, explained?
Absolutely. And that's because in governments that control the people, they have to control what you think, they have to control what you say. And it's different than we've seen in the 20th century because we didn't really have the strong LGBTQ community back then and all that. But today, the far left is controlling us through Antifa, controlling us through saying, oh, you can't offend anybody. I mean, look what happened at their own conference, you guys. You guys were just making fun of it. You can't even say gendered language at their own conference. They're never going to get anything done if that's the case. But what I also do for these videos, it's pretty crazy. We have an entire spectrum. We are going to Dallas actually tomorrow to film the story of a woman who was a hopeful Olympian for Venezuela before the country turned, before Chavez came to power. Her firearms coach, she was a shooter, shot at 22, and her firearms coach had escaped Cuba. And he had been telling her earlier, before Chavez came to power, you know, this Chavez guy, he sounds exactly like Castro. I think this is going to be a growing problem. We are in trouble. And everybody would be like, oh, it can't happen here. And she's going to do this in the video. She's going to explain how people in Venezuela said, oh, no, see, we're not an island. It's fine. We're not going to do it. They had all these excuses. They said Chavez is so nice. He's not going to do that. He's going to make us equal and fair, and society's going to be better. I mean, everybody's going to have more money. And the coach was right. And luckily, that woman heard her coach and said, this is not going to be good. She escaped before it got bad, and now she has to go and visit her family. She says you can't even take your phone out in the middle of the street or you will be attacked because it's such a hot commodity. You cannot do that kind of stuff. So that's one perspective, the idea that it has happened to other countries. Other countries have said, no, it's not going to happen here, and now look what's happening in the United States. We have the exact same thing. So it's very spooky. We also have somebody who's a Democrat who said, I escaped from Cuba. I came to the United States, became a Democrat, thinking I was advocating for the working class. And then I turned around and saw my party embracing the squad, embracing socialism that I escaped from. So that's a powerful story. We have so many great things. We have somebody who escaped Cuba by windsurfing across the ocean, 90 miles. It took him 10 hours. And when he finally got to the United States, after applying and doing the legal process, he's a legal person in the United States now. He had his first cheeseburger, and he couldn't finish it because you want to know what? Beef is illegal in Cuba. You can't even have that. He ate potatoes for like a year, and his mom burned furniture to boil those potatoes once they ran out of wood.
Well,
So I hope my generation hears those
Yeah.
and then thinks of like, oh, I'm wearing a Che Guevara shirt. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Did you know his nickname is the Butcher? Yeah. So that's the kind of impact we want to have on people.
I love it. Looking forward to these stories being told. Morgan Zeggers is her name. She's the founder of Young Americans Against Socialism. Young Americans Against Socialism. Pay attention to this group and the stories they're going to be sharing online. Morgan, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with your nascent organization. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice day.
She joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chatter to a minimum? I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus. Please, can we just, I know we're all fresh and ready to go, but can we please just keep the chatter to a minimum? It's affecting my ability to focus. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade. Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer
like comic
on
book
AM 560. The Answer.
We have to talk about it.
Nope, I don't wanna.
We have to.
No.
But we need life insurance.
I am not listening to you.
So you don't love me then?
What? Oh, fine. We need life insurance, but all the paperwork, it's such a pain.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos? Is that some kind of yoga thing?
No, Ethos is life insurance for people like us.
Like us?
People who don't have time for fine print, insurance jargon, and hidden fees.
Yeah, I pretty much hate all that stuff.
Of course you do. With Ethos, you can apply online, and there's a policy for every budget.
Really?
Yes, the online application only takes 10 minutes, and you'll be taking the first step in ensuring the kids and I'll be safe, even if something unexpected happens.
Ethos brings you choices that don't require an in-person meeting with an agent, and in most cases, there's no need for a doctor's appointment.
Feel better?
Yeah, I do.
Ethos, life insurance made simple. Apply online in just 10 minutes. Get a free instant quote now at ethoslife.com. That's ETHOS life.com. EthosLife.com.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com. Excuse me.
Yes.
In case you haven't noticed, advertising has changed over the years.
What?
It used to be customers could find or discover your business in just a handful of ways. Now, life is digital, with so many more options and things you need to do. You need Salem Surround, a full-service digital agency with all your digital marketing under one roof. When a potential customer searches for your product, do they find your business or the competition? Is your business's contact information accurate and everywhere it should be to reach today's digital consumer? Does your website have all the right tools to turn visitors into leads? If not, we've got some solutions. Contact Salem Surround for a free evaluation of your digital presence and to help get your message in front of today's digital audience. We'll help deliver customers by putting your business message in the right place at the right time. Don't just invest in a marketing strategy. You need to surround your target audience. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
I'm doing it. Justin's doing it. My sister's doing it. A lot of people are taking Balance of Nature. Why? Well, it's an easy and convenient way to get the fruits and veggies you need on a daily basis. Because at the minute, we're not eating enough fruits and veggies at all those summer barbecues where there's beer and brats and hot dogs. Balance of Nature is just that, easy and convenient. And if you listen to this station, you've heard people talk about how Balance of Nature has changed their lives. And it could do the same for you. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. Experience the difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new Preferred customers will receive an additional 30% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. You will also receive an extra $10 off on any additional set of fruits and veggies that you purchase. This summer special offer will expire soon, so do not wait. Call 800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. Use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and John Cass in for Amy this morning, and it's nice to see at least some pushback coming from Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, who also was he's the Equinox Soul Cycle billionaire guy. Because they're all hysterical, the fact that he was outed as hosting he's hosting a fundraiser for Trump. He said, I've always been an active participant in the democratic process. I've known Trump for 40 years, and while we agree on some issues, we strongly agree on many others, and I've never been bashful about expressing my opinions. In the wake of all the people, models, and comedians who boycott him, Dan Rather, and blah, 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 and statements issued from Soul Cycle and Equinox saying he doesn't represent our values, so still come in for the exercise classes.
Protesting in front of the Kinko's.
Yeah, right, exactly. Right. But, you need people to push back, especially powerful people, to show other powerful, influential people, and even those who are influential in smaller circles. You can push back. You can express your own opinions and live to tell about it.
Yeah.
So I hope he continues.
And if they don't like you, they never did. They never really loved you.
Speaking of which, a nice little segue to our 737 guest, Dixon Q. Amoa is founded an organization in Chicago to change the perception of black gun ownership in the black community. And we're going to talk to him about that after we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 62 degrees at 7:30. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will not call back senators from their August recess to take up gun violence issues. The Kentucky Republican is saying, however, issues like some expanding of background checks and red flag laws will be front and center when the Senate returns after Labor Day. President Trump will meet with some tech giants at the White House today, discussing combating online extremism. Authorities say kids whose moms and dads were caught up in those immigration raids in Mississippi were quickly reunited with at least one of their parents. But there was a good deal of confusion when the raids got underway. Tony McGee is superintendent for Scott County School Districts and says the schools stepped in to try to help the students.
And did find out that there had been an opportunity for ICE raids at 2 locations within our county and school zones. And so from there, we tried to secure places for boys and girls to go that afternoon.
U.S. Attorney Mike Hurst says even as those arrested were being processed at an Air National Guard base, cell phones were made available so they could contact friends and family to take care of children. About 270, mostly parents, were released back into their communities by Wednesday night. Former Vice President Joe Biden renewing his attacks on President Trump, but doing so while campaigning at the Iowa State Fair.
Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Even his supporters know who he is. We got to let them know who we are. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction.
The Democrat presidential frontrunner also argued that the president is hurting America's standing in the world. A man who was wanted in 2 attacks last month on Chicago's North Side is in custody. Adam Bramwell was arrested yesterday by marshals near Houston, Texas. He is wanted for a violent July 13th carjacking in the Lincoln Park neighborhood and a brutal knife attack several days later on a recent DePaul University grad. Major League Baseball announcing the Yankees will play the White Sox at the site where the Field of Dreams movie was filmed in 2020. Carla Thompson is with the Dyersville, Iowa Chamber of Commerce.
Major League Baseball really wants to connect kids, family with baseball, and what better location to do that?
A temporary 8,000-seat stadium will be assembled at the site of the game, the first Major League game ever played in Iowa. Bears dropped their preseason opener to the Carolina Panthers 23-13. Cubs clobbered the Reds 12-5 in Cincinnati, and the Sox host the A's tonight. The news service of LifeLock with Norton. Get help now. LifeLock with Norton helps protect your identity and devices. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10% on your first year. 7:33, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity doesn't see any Democratic candidate making sense.
Now, some are saying, well, we can't afford everything in the Green New Deal, but we can afford a lot of it. They all support a version of the Green New Deal. Anybody that tries to tell you that there's any moderates running for president on the Democratic Party ticket is just lying to you.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Is your old AC a clunker? Does it clunk, leak, or make weird noises? Could be it's on its way out. Luckily, the highly trained techs at your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning will replace your AC with new top-tier equipment. And isn't that what you want to hear? Right now, get big savings on a complete cooling system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. I love to barbecue, but there's nothing worse than running out of propane in the midst of cooking. It's all about being prepared, and that's how we look at your retirement planning.
Absolutely. That's why our whole team at Wealth Management Group is fired up about helping you be ready.
Tune in each week as we discuss practical ways to be ready for your retirement.
Find us at investwithwmg.com and pick Wealth Management Group to be your +1 this summer. Listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I have been plagued with esophagus acid, and it burns the esophagus. I've had it for 30 years, and I've had doctors give me prescriptions for it and everything. I never got rid of it. I've been on the Balance of Nature for about 3.5, 4 months. It is completely gone. I didn't even notice it. But it has to be the Balance of Nature because it's the only supplement I'm taking. And I just wanted you to know that because it's made a world of difference in my life. I just wanted to let you know.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 30% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. You will also receive an extra $10 off on any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. This summer special will expire, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
7:36 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway. Traffic is slowing down just a bit now between Maple and the Reagan Tollway. The Reagan Tollway looks good. The Adams Tollway, too. Northbound Tri-State. It's pretty heavy between the Reagan Tollway and the Bensonville Bridge, but otherwise, the Tri-State for now is okay. Eden's 19 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 21 after a crash at Foster. Kennedy, 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 16 from Montrose, 12 in the Express. Outbound 34 to the airport. Inbound Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. 25 from Manheim. Outbound 35 minutes, 390. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 38. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, just a little congested approaching the verge. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and nice today, a high of 82. Clear and 62 overnight. 63 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass. And John, there's a new gun club in Chicago, Chicago-based at least. And, I belong to a couple of sportsmen's clubs in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm. Shooting clays and so forth.
So, these are the little, one of the little platoons of democracy. This looks to be another one. The 761st Gun Club of Chicago.
But I like this because I got a sense that all politics is woke off now. And I got a sense that this guy will freak out those white liberals.
Well,
big time.
Right. It doesn't seem like this is coming from, this is consistent with the orthodoxy of opinion that Chicago Democrats want to impose on the city. 761st Gun Club of Chicago. We'll get you the genesis of that name, which is very interesting. The gentleman who started it is Dixon Q. Amoa, and he wants to change the perception of gun ownership in the black community in Chicago. And he joins us now to discuss that. Dixon, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good morning. And so why don't we start, because I like the choice you made with the gun club's name, the basis for the 761st Gun Club.
So the 761st Gun Club was named after the Army 761st Tank Battalion. This tank battalion was an all-black tank battalion that fought in World War II. They were under General Patton's army. And we chose this name because that history was never or rarely shared within the black community. So this was our way to pay homage and show our patriotism.
And, okay, so now we got the basis of the name. And what's the mission of the organization?
So the mission of the organization is to preserve the rights of African-American gun ownership in the Chicagoland area. We are affiliated with the National African-American Gun Association. That's our national chapter. Our goal is to promote a positive chapter in the Second Amendment, and then also in the black community.
And I don't understand, because the problem in the black community, the predominantly black neighborhoods in Chicago, is too many guns, and so that's what I understand from the politicians. And so we need to get rid of guns. We not need to encourage gun ownership.
Well, I mean, if you look at history, we've seen a lot of history with the black gun owners. We have Robert F. Williams. A lot of people don't even know that Dr. King was also a gun owner. I forgot what the book was, but I remember one of the chapters we were talking about the amount of arsenal that Dr. King had. But what happens is with that narrative, people want to just talk about the nonviolent part of Dr. King, which he was nonviolent, and what this will help with the pro-gun side is, I mean, even though you're nonviolent, doesn't mean that you don't believe in self-defense. So we're trying to bring out the truth. We talk about black gun ownership. We talk about Ida B. Wells. They named the streets after her in Chicago, and nobody knows that she was a gun owner. And she advocated about gun ownership in the black community as well. I mean, we Frederick Douglass as well, Robert F. Williams, Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, and the list keeps going on and on.
And the logo of your group is taken from the logo of the Tank Battalion, the 761st, which is also a Black Panther. Correct?
So we chose that logo on purpose because I think it was a provocative logo. A lot of people associate it with black people and as Black Panthers, and they get look at it in a very negative light. So it was our way to start a conversation. So we had people to come in, and I mean, we had some people kind of hot when they saw that and just, thought that we was like a new Black Panther movement, and we had to sit down and educate them about the Tank Battalion. So yeah, it kind of opened up some eyes.
So what are your conversations like, you and your colleagues, the members of the club, when you, in reaction to what you hear from the politicians in Chicago, Lightfoot now, Tiny Dancer before her, Daley before him, about the incidents of violence on the south and west sides of the city, what they suggest we do about it, their moral indignation at its existence, but the failure to do anything material to combat it?
So we are a nonviolent organization, though. I mean, we are saddened about the violence that's going on in Chicago and things like that. We just have a different view of it. We understand that even if you are a gun owner, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a violent person. I'm not a violent person. I like peace. Like the other side appreciates peace as well. I just got a different view of how to obtain that peace. So we all know that the bad guys don't like bullets flying back at them. So usually if they know that, they'll kind of quiet themselves down. So what we do at the gun club, we talk about the laws. So the thing is, we got all walks of life that comes in our gun club. So we got Republicans, we got Democrats, we got independent. I'm more of an opportunist, but
yeah, sure.
And we just talk about the Second Amendment and how these gun control laws are affecting the law-abiding gun owner. And a lot of our members who came in before were probably a little bit more pro-gun control, but after we talk about how these laws are affecting them, they're leaning towards being anti-gun gun control.
It's always been my understanding, just from covering politics in this town, that white liberals and white Democrats talk about, gun. Take the guns, take the guns. But if you go in the neighborhoods and you really talk to people, they know that the cops can't get there in time. They don't want to give up their gun. That's the sense I get. Is that the sense you get?
That's the sense we get. I mean, history has shown that, we're going back to the pre-civil rights movement. I mean, we had all these lynchings and things going on. And Robert F. Williams started leading a coalition of Black Armed Guards, which was the first Black NRA chapter. And what they did was they patrolled their areas, and guess what? The lynching stopped in the area. So they know that law enforcement wasn't going to be there to protect them or get there on time, and they brought the gun as a tool to defend their life and their property, and all that shenanigans stopped. Now we've seen stories of like Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, when the guns were taken away from those communities. Those communities got destroyed.
Where can people get more information about gun club location, class offerings, all that jazz?
So you can look us up on the web. I'll say Google us on 761st Gun Club. You'll see us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and then you'll see us all over the place.
And
just throw a Google there, and you'll find us.
761st Gun Club. He is Dixon Kiwamoa, the president of the aforesaid 761st Gun Club of Illinois, changing the perception of gun ownership in the Black community in Chicagoland.
Drop me an email, will you?
Will do.
You can find me at the Tribune. Drop me an email. I want to talk to you.
Will do. I'll do that. Thank you.
Man.
All right, Dixon, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
My name is David Hochberg. If you'd like to pay off debt, call Team Hochberg now about a cash-out refinance. During May, Team Hochberg helped listeners access $953,000 to pay off credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical bills, collections, and IRS tax liens, which saved them close to $19,000 a month. Since January, Team Hochberg has saved listeners over $74,000 a month, which is an annualized savings of over $888,000. What are you waiting for? Call Team Hochberg now to see if we can help you pay off debt and substantially reduce your monthly payments with a cash-out refinance. Think of all the things you could do with an extra $500, $1,000, or $1,500 a month that you'd be saving. Call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-400-6213. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-400-6213. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-400-6213. 1-800-400-6213.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonial is based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. IRI US MULO, 52 weeks by UPC.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton, and I want to talk to you about something I haven't liked to talk about until now, my menopause. All my life, I've had energy to win gold in '84. But when menopause hit me, with the hot flashes and the night sweats, I began to feel sluggish every day. That all changed when I discovered Amberen.
Amberen safely relieves 12 menopause symptoms by helping to restore your hormonal balance. Amberen is 100% drug-free, estrogen-free, and clinically tested. Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement.
Thanks to Amberen, my fear of hot flashes is gone. My sheets aren't soaked every night, and my energy is back. Give Amberen a try and see what it can do for you. It works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine retailers nationwide and get Amberen today.
I'm doing it. Justin's doing it. My sister's doing it. A lot of people are taking Balance of Nature. Why? Well, it's an easy and convenient way to get the fruits and veggies you need on a daily basis. Because at the minute, we're not eating enough fruits and veggies at all those summer barbecues where there's beer and brats and hot dogs. Balance of Nature is just that, easy and convenient. And if you listen to this station, you've heard people talk about how Balance of Nature has changed their lives. And it could do the same for you. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. Experience the difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 30% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. You will also receive an extra $10 off on any additional set of fruits and veggies that you purchase. This summer special offer will expire soon, so do not wait. Call 800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. Use discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and John Cass, Chicago Tribune columnist extraordinaire, in for Amy J this morning. And John, how about this story of Colonel Roy Knight Jr.? Fortunately, a Canadian journalist was waiting for his flight home to D.C. from El Paso after covering the president's visit to El Paso the other day. And as the plane that was arriving, and would deplane, and this would be the plane that he would fly back on, was carrying the remains of Colonel Roy Knight, Jr., whose plane was shot down over Vietnam in 1967. Jackson Proskow is the journalist, and he sets the scene. Dallas became the place where the weight of the world seemed to melt away, the place where the good outweighed the bad for the first time in days. When we arrived at our gate at Dallas's Love Field, I noticed a few camera crews waiting. I didn't think much of it. Perhaps they were waiting for a politician or newsmaker. A few minutes later, a gate agent from Southwest Airlines appeared and started handing out American flags. Our inbound plane from Oakland was carrying the remains of an American airman, Colonel Roy Knight, Jr., shot down in combat during the Vietnam War in 1967. The agent took a long pause as he seemed to collect his words. Colonel Knight ejected from his aircraft, but no parachute was seen deploying. A search was undertaken, but could not find him. Today, Colonel Knight is coming home to Dallas. At that point, we were told that before deploying, Colonel Knight had said farewell to his family at this very airport. He waved goodbye to his 5-year-old son. It would be the last time he would see any of them. By this point in the story, as the gate agent is telling the story, it's quiet, and he tweeted out a bunch of pictures, too, including the assemblage of Southwest Airlines staff when the coffin was removed from the draped in the American flag was removed from the plane. It's really great work by this journalist, Jackson Proskow, to capture these moments. TSA agents stood solemnly in a line near the gate. The gate agent continued to address all who had assembled in silence. The pilot of the plane bringing Colonel Knight home, his son. The kid that at 5 years old he said goodbye to, never saw again. The pilot of the Southwest Airlines flight that brought his dad's remains home 52 years later. How incredible is this story? And also this unifying moment. You should go check it out. Of course, I'll tweet it out. But just, everybody, nobody making a spectacle of themselves. People being like sort of the unity of understanding of that moment and, well, the sacrifices that men and women in the military make for this country and have since its founding.
Nobody performing for cameras.
Right.
Nobody virtue signaling their, wokeness or any of that. Just people standing, Americans.
Jackson Proskow, he recounts, airports rarely see moments of quiet, but for a few brief minutes, Dallas Love Field fell absolutely silent. No garbled announcements, no clickety-clack of rolling suitcases over the tile floor, no shouting over cell phones. People stood quietly at the window, wiping away tears, taking in a moment few rarely get to see. It was beautiful, it was peaceful, and it was a privilege to watch. And it's a privilege to recount the story, and we appreciate Jackson Proskow for capturing it. Again, I'll tweet this out, but you got to share it. It's a great story.
Thanks for that.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, R-E-M-K-E-S, garage.com.
Coming up at 8:08, we're going to talk to Maj Toure. He is a hip-hop artist and the founder of Black Guns Matter. We just talked to Dixon Q. Amoa in Chicago. What Maj Toure is trying to do nationally is what Dixon Q. Amoa is trying to do in Chicago, change the perception of gun ownership among the law-abiding in the black community. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Mayor Lightfoot to address the city's finances later this month. A man wanted in a violent Northside attack has been arrested, pulled off a bus in Texas. An iconic retired Chicago priest has now been accused of sexually abusing a minor. An endangered man goes missing in Downers Grove. Sox and Yankees to play at the Field of Dreams next summer. Bears drop the preseason opener to the Panthers while the Cubs clobber the Reds. Sunny and nice day is ahead in your forecast. WIND, Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
He's ready to take a break. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump will soon leave the White House, head to his golf club in New Jersey for his August break. He's in the past bristled at it being called a vacation. Meanwhile, there will be discussion today at the White House into trying to prevent more mass shootings. Fox's John Decker is there live.
In an effort to respond to the rise of violent online extremism, the White House is hosting executives from top tech companies today to discuss what can be done by them to help stem mass shootings in America. The president will not attend the meeting, which will include senior administration officials, along with representatives of a range of internet and social media companies. The president on Monday ordered the Justice Department to work in partnership with social media companies to develop tools that can detect mass shooters before they strike. Dave?
Now, John, the Senate will not return from recess this month like Democrats have called for to consider gun control proposals. Republican leader Mitch McConnell told WHAS in Louisville.
So I think with probably background checks and red flags would probably lead the discussion.
McConnell says he wants to do something and wants it bipartisan. The NRA's leader says these gun proposals would not have prevented the massacres in El Paso or Dayton. CEO Wayne LaPierre reportedly told President Trump if he supports more background checks, it'll be unpopular with his base. A man in Springfield, Missouri is still waiting to find out what he'll be charged with. He's the guy accused of walking into a Walmart wearing body armor yesterday, carrying a rifle. He didn't open fire, but when he left the store, a former firefighter confronted him.
I walked up to the grass and asked him if he was the male inside, and he stated yes, and I drew my weapon, told him to put his hands in the air. He complied, was compliant the whole time.
And then police arrived and made the arrest. It's day 3 of the manhunt for a prison escapee in Tennessee.
He could be anywhere.
As the TBI's director in Tennessee, Curtis Ray Watson, described as extremely dangerous. He made the escape and killed, then police say, a prison administrator. This is Fox News.
Sunshine in Chicago, 63 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Mayor Lightfoot will address the city of Chicago's financial situation later this month. The mayor is set to deliver a primetime address on August 29th. Topics will include how the city will deal with a huge hole blown in the 2020 city budget. The mayor has previously said she could be forced to raise taxes. A man who was wanted in 2 attacks last month on Chicago's North Side is in custody. Adam Bramwell was pulled off a Greyhound bus by U.S. Marshals near Houston, Texas. He's wanted for a violent July 13 carjacking in the Lincoln Park neighborhood, and in the same neighborhood a short time later, an attack on a recent DePaul University grad. A suburban Chicago man has been charged with a felony hate crime after he fired an air rifle at his neighbors while allegedly shouting racial slurs. The Aurora Beacon News says 36-year-old Ryan Solisman of the suburb of Montgomery was also charged by the Kane County State's Attorney's Office with reckless conduct. A new Illinois law is on the books. It eliminates the requirement that a teacher candidate pass a basic skills test to receive their teaching license. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed that law yesterday, designed to help combat the teacher shortage in the state. Bears dropped their preseason opener to the Carolina Panthers 23-13 last night at Soldier Field. Nick Castellanos slugged 2 home runs in the Cubs win over the Reds 12-5. Sox will host the A's later today. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Uber lost more than $5 billion in the spring quarter, though it's driving more passengers than expected, 1.68 billion rides in the period. Uber had expenses related to its stock launch. Shares of German chemical giant Bayer are sharply higher, following reports it's willing to pay up to $8 billion to settle thousands of lawsuits that allege its Monsanto Roundup weed killers cause cancer. The company isn't confirming the report. Chipmaker Broadcom has a deal to buy Symantec's unit that provides security to companies. The deal for the enterprise security business is worth $10.7 billion. And cannabis company Canopy Growth is buying medical research business Beckley Canopy Therapeutics. Beckley is working on developing cannabis-based medicines. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
With all the noise and political spin of the news cycle, it's easy for the things that really matter to get lost. Sources with knowledge cuts through all the clutter to bring you biting commentary on the week's events. This Sunday at 3 p.m., your hosts Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser bring you insight on politics and policy, as well as culture, sports, food, and everything else you need, so you can understand what's happened this week. It's Sources with Knowledge, this Sunday at 3 p.m., right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Tom Killoran Photography is ready to memorialize your next event with photos that come to life and preserve the memories for generations. They can accommodate your large group photos to individual portraits, wallet size to panoramic. They can even print your photos on location as a take-home keepsake for your party guests. Visit KilloranPhotography.com. AM 560 The Answer hired Tom Killoran Photography for our annual charity golf outing, and the finished product was amazing. Book Tom Killoran Photography for your upcoming corporate event, family reunion, wedding, bar mitzvah, or any event you want to capture forever. And those old family videos you have on VHS tape, it's time to preserve them forever. Tom Killoran Photography can transfer your beloved memories to DVD and can restore your older faded photos or enlarge them. Visit KilloranPhotography.com. KilloranPhotography.com. KILLORAN Photography.com.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
It is 8:07 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Let's get the very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
In Addison on eastbound Army Trail, right before 355 Veterans Memorial Tollway, there's a crash blocking the right lane. Expect some delays on eastbound Army Trail. On the Veterans Memorial itself, traffic is heavy. 75th to the Reagan Tollway, Butterfield to St. Charles. Southbound 53 is tight, Palatine Road to Kershaw. On the Reagan Tollway, traffic is slow now, Farnsworth to Eola. Northbound Tri-State delays on Plainfield Road to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Kennedy, 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to the Burn Circle. 28 from Manheim. Stevenson. 48 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny skies. It'll be a nice day. Our high today at 82. Clear tonight with a low 62. A blend of sun and clouds tomorrow, the high near 81. A shower or thunderstorm on Sunday with a high again 81. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
64 degrees at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, John Cass, President remarking upon his visits to El Paso and Dayton to meet with victims' families, law enforcement. President Trump saying this. Do we have, can you cue up President Trump?
Okay.
We had an amazing day. As you know, we left Ohio, and the love, the respect for the office of the presidency, I wish you could have been in there to see it. I wish you could have been in there. And it was no different here. We went to the hospital, just came from the hospital. We were there a lot longer than we were anticipated to be. It was supposed to be just a fairly quick. We met with numerous people. We met with also the doctors, the nurses, the medical staff. They have done an incredible job. Both places, just incredible. And the enthusiasm, the love, the respect, and also the telling me, let's see if we can get something done. And Republicans want to do it, and Democrats want to do it. And by the way, here's a great hero. This man, the job he did, you all know who it is. Everybody, the whole world knows who you are now, right? So if you're a movie star when you look, that'll be next. Who knows, right?
And so, of course, that didn't stop the Democrat candidates for president from continuing to prosecute their case that President Trump is a white supremacist and he's fanning the flames of racial hatred.
Yeah, but they're full of it.
Excuse me, former Vice President Joe Biden.
He's full of it, too.
He is full of truth.
We choose science over fiction. We choose truth over facts. So, folks, if you're interested, join me. I could use the help.
Is that one of those Freudian slips I've heard so much about, choosing truth over facts?
Every time he opens his mouth about race, I'm reminded of what he said to the NAACP just a few years ago
about Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney, the racist, gonna put y'all back in chains.
Right.
With speaking in accents.
Well,
now, but still, I don't think the trip for Mr. Trump was that successful. You have Moocher, whatever his name is, on Chris Matthews, basically saying it was a disaster.
Well,
because it was.
Scaramucci certainly knows a disaster when he sees one. All he has to do is look in the mirror. But
it was about him. It was about that's what his criticism was. It was about the president, and that allowed his critics to pile onto him. And I have to say, I'm not unmindful of that.
Yeah, I mean, I concede the point that President Trump is more narcissistic than I would otherwise like. However, his critics are going to say those things about him no matter what he says, right. No matter what he does. He could have been the guy at the Walmart, who was
private.
Yeah, who was at a local base, right, attached to a local military base, right. Who was running around saving children, getting children who were without their parents out of the way at that Walmart shooting. Trump could have actually been there, and they would still be calling him a white supremacist, still be saying the same thing. But I do appreciate Joe Biden giving a hat tip to AOC, per her interview back with Anderson Cooper months back, where said, we're morally correct, so we don't have to be factually accurate. Essentially, what she said, and essentially what Joe Biden said. They're living their truth, and I think that's real special. But for more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined again. I talked to him last year. I also did an extended sit-down with him interview. You can get it at upstream-ideas.com. Maj Touré is a hip-hop artist, and he's the founder of an organization called Black Guns Matter, and he's calling people out in no uncertain terms who would make black people less safe in predominantly black neighborhoods like the west and south sides of Chicago here. Maj, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Same here. What's up, Dan? How you?
Good. So give us a status update. We haven't spoken to you in perhaps about a year or so. A status update on, I know you're based out of Philadelphia, or we were last time we spoke, but your status with Black Guns Matter and the progress that you're making to change the perception of black ownership of guns.
Right. Well, so for one, we've been around the country a bunch of times. We've been supportive. I think at the time when I came up there in Chicago, it was a really good cigar, by the way.
Thank you.
I think that we had a goal at that point of maybe $100,000. With that being the case, since then we've gotten to over $200,000, and I thought it was going to be over. But then everybody kept asking us again, you got to keep this going. So we raised the goal up to $1 million. I think we had maybe like $207,000 or something like that. So a good metric of if people still want or are interested in something is if they're paying for it. And a lot of people, across the country are paying it forward for other people. So, and what I mean by that is people saying, hey, I don't know exactly when you're coming to my town, but we need you to go back to Chicago. We need you to go, back to Compton, back to Detroit, to these some of these flyover states. So that's the status of where we are.
And just when you talk about go to these states, go to Chicago, and remind people what you do, what you did when you were last in Chicago.
Yeah, so the last time I was in Chicago, for a while we were there doing conflict resolution. We're working on these kits where we can give people a kit. This is what conflict looks like. This is what it's not, and then packaging that in the manner where even before you get to the Second Amendment or firearms, you're more well versed in dealing with and mitigating trauma based on conflict and recognizing what it is. So that's one thing. But when we were there, we did a few classes on, what does it mean to be if you participate in cannabis culture as well as a firearm owner? What does it mean if you're a felon in your regards to firearms? As well as we did those classes, and then we culminated that with a class dealing with all of those things: conflict resolution, firearm safety, political education, because it doesn't make sense to know all of this stuff and then you can have you're voting in a guy or a woman that's going to further infringe on your rights. So that's what we do at Black Guns Matter: conflict resolution, de-escalation, firearm safety and training, as well as political education. So all of these people across the nation are paying it forward for people in these high violence, high ignorance, very anti-freedom cities, blue cities for the most part, and states, to inform that voting group and make them vote differently. So that's in essence what we do.
What kind of pushback are you getting from? I'll give you. I don't want to stereotype, but I will in this. Liberal, Democrat, white reporters. What kind of protest? What kind of? Since I'm a journalist in Chicago, but I've never been accused of being a liberal. What kind of pushback are you getting from my brothers?
They don't really know. Their attack on not approaching us is the pushback, because they know that they can't use the same race card. So, for example, y'all white dudes, I know Dan's white.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm still white.
Well, I'm Greek.
Right.
We didn't become white until just
recently.
Jackie Kennedy got married to Aristotle
you're like darker,
and they made us
okay,
white.
Cool. You're passing for black on certain moments. With that being the case, right?
Right.
They don't know how to approach what we're doing because, one, we're factually based. Two, the vast majority of the people that come to Black Guns Matter, not limited to, depending on the city that we're in, it's, people from urban areas. That might be black and brown people. With that being the case, they don't know how to approach it because they've been so used to using the race card, they can't deal with the fact that as a person from the community, our organization is in the communities, right, doing this work. So the best thing that they do is to try to ignore. And that's smart of them. Leave us alone. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when we get people calling that out, like, yo, there's a guy in your town. Hey, there's a guy, you should have him on your show. Even some of the black on-air personalities, their leadership or their bosses are white liberals. So because of that, they give them very clear instructions to take a hands-off approach, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be on all of the more right-leaning or freedom-based places regardless. But I think they're afraid of me and my friends because they know what time it is, and number two, they don't want to look. They don't know how to really approach us. Our talking points don't sound like something that you'd see on right-wing media. You know what I mean? I'm not running around with a MAGA hat every day saying Donald Trump is the savior of the planet. I'm not doing that. We're objective. You know what I mean? And so because of that, they don't really know how to approach us, and it makes them have to think about their own bias. So if they're not brave, what they do is they be quiet, and that's fine. If you don't got nothing right to say or it's not fact-based, I believe you should shut up anyway. So I'm cool with them being quiet and us doing media. I just did 2 media shows on Fox Nation in New York a few days ago, so I'm perfectly fine with it. The truth is going true because I'm not trying to convince those white liberal media. I'm trying to inform the masses, the general public. And when you approach it the way that we do, dealing with conflict resolution, dealing with healing from trauma, dealing with mitigating violence, dealing with respect for freedoms, respect for the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, in essence, you'd almost have to be an idiot to argue against those points. So the general public are not fools. They may be misinformed, but once they got the right information, we come from good soil, so we grow some good stuff.
What's your reaction to the obsession in the wake of the El Paso and Dayton shootings with the white supremacist argument? It's mostly advanced by a bunch of white politicians, although, of course, you do have black and Latino candidates for president on the Dem side as well. But how do you receive the idea that white supremacy not only is being promoted from the occupant by the occupant of the White House, but that's the sort of existential threat to minority individuals in this country?
White supremacy is a myth. Any person, if we're talking about a white male, right, because that's what they isolated to, they somehow seem to think like white women can't be like supremacists. But okay, let's go with the white male conversation.
Right.
That's a myth. No, if any white male thinks they're superior to other beings, they have a white inferiority complex. That's what that is. That's like a guy with a Napoleon complex with just a huge attitude and a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, we had a
mayor like that. You have an inferiority complex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the whole right, that whole white guy's supremacist. That's something that you got to tell yourself to make yourself feel better. But in reality, across the world, across the entire globe, people of all different hues, ethnicities, cultural backgrounds have developed and pushed forward culture. That's just what it is. So this notion that, it's the white supremacists, it's like 8 Ku Klux Klan members. Like, that's it. Now, do people have biases? Yes. But I don't care. That's actually a certain portion of freedom. If you don't like the blacks, the Jews, the whatever your thing is, you don't like the whites, I don't care. I don't care if you don't like me. I have guns. That's your issue if you don't like me. I'm gonna still be here and be fabulous. I'm still gonna be on at City Council at large. I'm still gonna work the angles. I'm still gonna inform the hood. Now, where we have a problem is when you allow your bias to try to violate my body or my stuff. Then, if my life is in imminent danger, I'm gonna shoot you. That's it. That is it. I have the right to exist on this land. So this concept that, it's the white supremacists, but at the same time, these same media talking heads and or politicians say things like, we need more gun control. Okay, so if the dude in charge is Hitler, right, and he's running things in white supremacy, and in urban areas, Philly's 60, 70% black and brown. So we should leave it up to the racists and the white supremacists to have the firearms and then do the right thing. That is a contradiction of the highest order.
Yeah.
If you're a racist, awesome. Be racist. Do your thing. I don't care. When you try to attempt to violate my life, that's the whole concept of Black Guns Matter. I'm gonna show you how quick my life matters to me, and I'm gonna defend me and mine, and that's just what it is. So a lot of that's just media stuff. They try to get their ad revenues up, and God bless them. You got to get that Coca-Cola dollar. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really tripping, but it's a falsehood.
More like that Bloomberg dollar.
Media is the most effective devil in America. MEDIA, media.
It's
Shirts
always
are coming soon. That's already copywritten. So guys, if you're hearing this, don't
Right. I don't want you to
understand?
charge us. Yeah.
there's nothing more biddable in politics than a white liberal reporter, because they're always guilty and they're on the intersectional highway and they don't know how to drive it, and they know if they'll get crashed and then they'll destroy everything.
Y'all ever heard of this thing called Operation Mockingbird?
No, I haven't.
No.
Operation Mockingbird was, first of all, even before we get to Mockingbird, President Obama signed something in a few years back where he said that it is, in essence, lawful for the mainstream media to use propaganda. That was not in existence. They took that restriction off the books during the Obama administration. It was lawful to use media to propagandize American citizens. Anyone that doesn't believe me, good. Don't believe me. Hop on DuckDuckGo and look it up for yourself. There's also a thing called Operation Mockingbird, where it was, in essence, they used journalists, white liberal journalists, to spread that propaganda. We have very little journalism still going on in America. You know what I mean?
No,
so with that being the case, I challenge
you
Go ahead.
there, but I think you have a lot of pretenders and a lot of people that want to be stars, and they're playing to different groups. That's all.
Yeah,
They
want
like
that Anderson Cooper check. I feel them.
Yeah, exactly. Maj, you talked about conflict resolution at the outset, and I wanted to focus on that too, because I make sure people understand there's sort of a holistic approach here to providing for your self-defense, but being, a peaceful pluralist too, as you are.
Right.
And so thinking about the shootings over the weekend, so the El Paso shooter's mom called police about her son having an AK. And the school and police were notified about the Dayton shooter back in 2010. So it seems to me, at least in part, what we have here, and we've seen this play out before, parents lose control of their kids, civil institutions fail, and the response from the political class is to punish people who play by the rules and raise kids who do. And that seems to be a real disconnect, too. But I'm not sure how much that's penetrating beyond, as you were talking about, the media din.
Well, it's because that's part of the tool. That's part of the process. We want to, I forget which politician it was that said, never let a tragedy go unused, or never let a tragedy go to waste, or something like that. My point there
that
is
was wrong.
They'll defend the narratives. They'll switch the narrative to defend their position. They are very good at PR and lying. They're very good at, public relations, or what we call it in our camp, perception and reality. They'll shift your perception to create an alternative reality, alternative facts. With that being the case, this is all a part of it. The problem is a lot of us on the freedom side, because we tend to go, well, they're allowed to believe whatever they want. We aren't loud enough about them being wrong. So because we don't want to, infringe, which if you're getting attacked, you should attack back. You should defend yourself. We've allowed this because we've allowed their PR machines to continue. So the tragedy happens. We're not talking about, the parents. I had a friend of mine, last week, his mother was murdered, stabbed to death by his brother. They have known for some time that the brother was saying things like, they out to get me, and like covering up the TV with a sheet. And a part of me, again, I'm going to be supportive of my friend and their family during this time. I'm going to be that. But at the same time, you should have help as a family involvement to get this person some help. Now, if you do that, if we intervene ourselves as a community, we don't have to wait on the government and then push a more anti-Fourth Amendment argument like red flag laws. We have to be involved. Then saying, hey, I'm having some issues. There's an example of another shooter that was stopped. His mom or his grandmom talked him down, into getting some help, going to getting some psychiatric evals, and that was a trauma mitigated. So my point there is, we have to do more as a community, and as much as cheesy as it sounds, it's the reality. Whether that's parenting, whether that's family, whether that's friends. When I have friends that have gone through hard divorces, and I get that thought like, man, maybe something's up, I'll say something as simple as, hey man, let me clean your rifles for you. And that's a way of me getting access to their rifles and talking to them, or even cleaning them with them. There are things in conflict resolution that we can do as a community to defend our freedoms as well as mitigate these types of tragedies. It is our responsibility not to lean on the government to make another rule. The government just makes rules. They do not work. Direct intervention, not mandated by the state, is how we protect ourselves. No different than the $2.5 million on a light year annual defensive gun usages where somebody is responsible, and a lot of those do not end in fatalities. Somebody using a firearm to protect themselves and their loved ones from a bad person. These are things that we have to do. At Black Guns Matter, why we stress so much around conflict resolution is for that exact reason.
He is Maj Toure, hip-hop artist, and as you just heard, founder of Black Guns Matter. Maj, thanks for joining us again. Good to catch up with you. Appreciate your insights.
Same here. Dan, real quick, anybody that's listening, if you want to support the work that we're doing, please, 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 this is crowdsourced.
Okay.
We need your support. GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. Thanks again.
GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. Maj, thanks for joining us, and he did so on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and John Cass in for Amy J this morning, and coming up at 8:38, how the role of imitation influences mass shootings. We're going to talk to retired prison psychiatrist and contributing editor of the City Journal, Theodore Dalrymple, about that. But now we check the headlines with Mike Scott.
68 degrees. Afghanistan this morning faces a presidential election. Happens next month, but rallies are beginning today around the country. Few believe the vote will take place as the U.S. and Taliban inch closer to a deal that may allow those elections to go forward and could end the nearly 18-year war, but bringing uncertainty about everything else. The Taliban spokesperson in Qatar told the AP this morning he expects an agreement on peace at the end of this round of talks. The deputy director of national intelligence is resigning, leaving a vacuum at the top of that office. NBC's Peter Alexander with more from Washington.
Sue Gordon is her name. She announced in a handwritten note to the president that she was stepping down as the principal deputy director of national intelligence. She will leave the same day as Director Dan Coats.
Coats had announced his resignation last month. Walmart taking down violent video game displays and signs after 2 deadly shootings last week. Federal government says the entire state of Illinois is in line for farm help. The USDA this week declaring all 102 counties in Illinois as ag disasters. That move opens up the path for farmers and ag businesses that rely on farms to get help. Search is underway to find an endangered man who went missing in Downers Grove. Ronaldo Castillo was last seen yesterday morning in the 1100 block of Carroll Street. A proposed Hyperloop train between Cleveland and Chicago picking up some major support. Creators of the Great Lakes Hyperloop project announced yesterday that Pittsburgh and some tax dollars are being added to the super high-speed line. Hyperloop Transportation Technology says travelers could zip from Cleveland to Pittsburgh in 9 minutes with just a 28-minute dash to Chicago. Bears dropped their preseason opener to the Carolina Panthers 23-13. Cubs over the Reds 12-5 in Cincinnati, and the White Sox host the A's later today. The news service of LifeLock with Norton. Are you one of the millions who had their information exposed in the recent breach? Be one of the millions who choose LifeLock with Norton to help protect their devices and identity. Join now at LifeLock.com. Promo code RISKS to save 10% in your first year. 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher always puts things into perspective.
The president never praised white supremacists or neo-Nazis or skinheads. It is a damnable lie, but it has the desired effect, yet it is not true. If I believe that the president praised white supremacists and neo-Nazis, I wouldn't like him either.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Varicose and spider veins. Wow, what a gift from my parents. They had them and I got them. And not only are they uncomfortable and sometimes painful, but I stopped wearing skirts and shorts because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way my legs looked. When my kids asked, "What are those things on your legs?" I was done. I finally went to Vein Clinics of America. The procedure took about an hour and I was right back to work. The staff made me feel so comfortable and the result, well, even my husband noticed. Vein Clinics of America has been treating vein disease for over 35 years. They're the largest and most experienced in the U.S. Look, I've been doing the commercials for Vein Clinics for years because I really believe in them, and you can trust them too. So stop hiding your legs. Vein Clinics of America accepts most major insurance plans. So call now to see if you qualify for a free consultation. Call 800-891-4900. 800-891-4900. That's 800-891-4900.
How would you like to make an extra $1,200 to $7,800 monthly safely investing in real estate tax lien certificates? Hi, I'm Sean Higgins, co-founder of USTLA, and for over 20 years, I've been investing in tax lien certificates, making 16 to 25% secured fixed returns while acquiring highly discounted properties mortgage-free. Now, I will show you how in my new 50-page revealing report called Proof, why tax lien certificates are the superior vehicle for your financial success. In my report, you'll learn where to find tax lien certificates, how to safely earn 16 to 25% secured fixed returns, and how to acquire valuable real estate at huge discounts mortgage-free. Now, for a limited time, I'll give anyone that calls a free copy of this powerful new report.
Call 800-219-9172 now to get Sean's free report. Call 800-219-9172 in the next 30 minutes, and Sean will give you 2 free tickets to his live training coming to the Chicago area, a $300 value. Call 800-219-9172. That's 800-219-9172 for your free report now. Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast, and you won't stink.
8:37. Let's get an update on that morning ride to work in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Eastbound 8094, traffic is heavy from Grant to Broadway. Just a little bit of a delay. There was a crash reported in that area. Looking at the Tri-State Tollway, southbound traffic is tight, Duffy to Deerfield Road. Northbound it's heavy, Plainfield Road to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Eastbound Reagan Tollway traffic's heavy, Farnsworth to Wheeler. The northbound Veterans Memorial, 75th to the Reagan Tollway at Butterfield to St. Charles. Edens, 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to the Bird Circle, 28 from Manhunt. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Ryan, 28 minutes from 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte. on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny and nice today, 82, clear and 62 overnight. Currently in Chicago, 68 degrees. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with Stephen Leahy. Every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, Chicago Tribune columnist John Cass.
It's been a pleasure, Dan.
It's been, it's always fun and illuminating, and tackling the topic, of course, that we've focused much of the week on, those awful atrocities in El Paso and Dayton, and trying to wade through the din of political babble on white supremacy and race and banning things that we've tried to ban before and passing more redundant laws and such. Try to get to some discussions of what we know to be true and what we don't know, what we just don't know. And perhaps this is why we continue to struggle to address, and we have these sort of repetitive conversations every time one of these mass shootings occurs. Our friend Theodore Dalrymple, who's a retired psychiatrist, prison psychiatrist for much of his career, has written a piece on the topic, one aspect of it. He's a contributing editor of City Journal as well as the Dietrich Weissman Fellow at the Manhattan Institute. His most recent book, Grief and Other Stories. Theodore Dalrymple, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
One of the aspects that you tackled in your piece is the role of imitation, and you sort of trace back this phenomenon of mass shootings to the guy who climbed the tower at the University of Texas back in the 60s. And if you just lay out the importance or the relevance of the role of imitation.
In this kind of crime, there does seem to be some clustering, so that if you get one such crime, you get another such crime shortly afterwards, or even more than one. In suicide, for example, there's been something called the Werther effect. The Sorrows of Young Werther was a novel by Goethe, and in the late 18th century, Werther, in the novel, commits suicide for unrequited love, and there was a rash of suicides of young men, of romantic young men, when they read this novel, which was extremely popular at the time. And one sees also in nowadays, if there's a suicide in a soap opera, there is a rash. There's sometimes a rash of suicide, and this effect is so well known that now people are very wary of depicting a suicide in a soap opera. So there's a kind of self-dramatization. There's a potential for self-dramatization in all this, and
so when you see somebody get wall-to-wall coverage over an extended period of time for the self-obsessed and soulless, that can be something that perhaps encourages, right? I mean, frankly, what you were describing with reference to the Goethe novel, it's one of the reasons that newspapers like the Chicago Tribune don't publish the name of suicide victims for exactly that social contagion that you're talking about.
Yes. Of course, it's very difficult. I mean, it's very difficult to stop people talking about something as dramatic as this. So, but it doesn't discourage it. At least, I mean, there's only a very relatively small number of people who would be susceptible to follow suit. But it does seem that there are some, and it's very difficult to know what to do about that.
Going to the Texas University of Texas Tower shooter.
Yeah.
In that case, he had a physical ailment. He had a brain tumor. For people who don't remember, and so that was a question about whether that impaired his judgment. He did something he wouldn't have normally done without the brain tumor that affected his mental processing.
Yeah.
But in many cases, even though mental illness is bandied about, there's no indication of mental illness. The El Paso's manifesto doesn't really provide any indication of mental illness. It provides a lot of instruction about ignorance and perhaps anger, where his anger comes from, but not mental illness. And so just speak to that, because we saw the same thing, just one other point, we saw the same thing in the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooting in California last week, where he allegedly told one of the witnesses to the shooting that he was really angry. And this discussion we're having about anger and mental illness and the separation or intersection between the two.
Well, yes. First of all, I don't think they have any recognizable major mental illness like schizophrenia, for example, because apart from anything else, they have to plan what they do, and that's not what very mentally ill people with schizophrenia they can do. There is this problem, and I don't know how one would deal with it. There's both the false positive and the false negative. I remember a patient telling me that he wanted to go and do something similar. He detested people who ate meat, and he wanted to go and shoot all the people in the supermarket who were buying meat. And unfortunately, he came to me in military outfit, and he joined a gun club, and I had no way of knowing how seriously to take what he claimed he wanted to do, and I didn't think there was anything I could do about it. And in fact, he as far as I'm aware, he's never done anything like that. Now there are many people like that. You can't take all the people who say they might do something like that, lock them up, and be sure that you've got all the people who might do something like this, and on the other hand, there will be people who escape your net altogether.
Right, and we've seen that.
They're the false negatives.
Well,
and in fact, the man in Texas had actually visited a psychiatrist very shortly before he killed, I think it was 16 people, and his parents as well, so 18 in total, and himself. And said that he might do such a thing. And, of course, the psychiatrist wasn't able to stop him.
And so when you see these case studies, Parkland, where school officials had and local police who had visited the shooter's home many times had some indication they were dealing with somebody, at least with the potential for violence. And there, real instances. And in the Dayton shooter, we have high school classmates coming forward and saying, what happened doesn't surprise me. We talked about this in 2010 when he had a rape list for girls in school. He had a kill list for boys in school. He had been suspended. And the El Paso shooter's mom calls local police expressing concern about her son taking possession of an AK-47 or the rifle. Do you look at those cases, even though the dynamics are somewhat different, but similar in some respects as well, and say, well, this is civil institutions failing, this is families failing, and this is government institutions failing, law enforcement and schools? Or do you look at it and say, in those circumstances, they did what they could, and there's just only so much you can do?
Yes, I think there is only so much you can do, because what this kind of anecdote doesn't tell you is how many people there are who would arouse such anxiety, but who don't go on to kill and don't go on to commit these atrocities. And there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of such people. So it's easy to be wise after the event. Unfortunately, life is lived forwards, not backwards.
Yeah. Well, also just thinking about this, everybody wants to isolate, their particular area of inquiry or study, right? So some people want to talk about violent video games. Some people want to talk about marijuana and drug usage in connection with many of these mass shooters, family, the the legal regime with respect to guns. I mean, is there some sort of combination of all of these things that gets us to a sweeter spot than we presently are, in your estimation?
I'm not sure there is. I mean, if you take gun control, I'm not completely against gun control, and I certainly don't think that people should take AK-47s down to the local supermarket. But I think it's a bit late for gun control, and I don't really see that anything else that is likely to change things very much. So I'm afraid I'm a bit nihilistic about this. People say that they have an easy solution, but they don't actually say what that solution is.
There was some, remarking as well as happens in this. I mean, I don't know that there's anything new here, but there's this range of topics that are covered. Also, we talk about the social fabric of society. One of the things that seems to punctuate some of the mass shooters is a sense that these individuals are sort of soulless and have some learned indifference to human life. And so the conversation naturally turns to not only family structure, but community structure, spirituality. They affiliated with a faith tradition at all. How much do you direct people's attention to those areas?
Well, I think that those are very important, and one of the things that I suggest, I can't prove it. So in this kind of field, there's no definite proof. But I think that many of these people are aiming at notoriety. They're often quite intelligent people, but not and very ambitious in some kind of way. They want to be marked out for something, but don't necessarily have the talent to be marked out for anything else. And they would rather be known for having committed a terrible crime than not known at all. And this perhaps is to be expected in a society in which fame is extremely important to people. That's why so many people seem not to be able to eat a meal now without communicating it to somebody else.
Yeah.
They obviously feel that they must communicate, and they must stand out. But of course it's very difficult to stand out because that requires some extra ability or some determination, which these people can't muster. In the prison in which I worked, I had contact with a man whose desire was to be the most difficult prisoner in the British prison system. And he was quite an intelligent man, but he was of this ilk. He wanted to stand out, but he didn't really have the capacity to stand out in anything useful or valuable, but wanted to stand out as being extremely difficult. He was extremely difficult. He succeeded in that, but of course it was a completely pointless goal. But many people would rather stand out for evil than just melt anonymously into a crowd.
And does this also make them susceptible to a cause as well? So the El Paso shooter reads this French white supremacist book about immigration, and now he's committed to this cause, much like some of the Islamist terrorists that we've talked about are committed to this cause. That's the way to stand out.
Well, if you look at many of, not all, of course, many of the Islamic terrorists, they led a pretty soulless and meaningless existence. Often they took part in the Sodom and Gomorrah that surrounded them, and then they suddenly have this conversion, discover meaning and purpose, and then commit their atrocities. So. That's a problem. These extreme ideas, these ideologies of any kind, actually, do give people what seems to be meaning and purpose. But of course, if it is a meaning and purpose, it's an evil meaning and purpose.
He is Theodore Dalrymple, retired prison psychiatrist for much of his career, contributing editor to City Journal, the Dietrich Wiseman Fellow at the Manhattan Institute, his recent book, Grief and Other Stories. Theodore Dalrymple, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Tell me if this is you. There's an outdoor project that you've been wanting to get done, but you just don't have the time or patience to deal with unprofessional contractors. It's a common theme of frustration. You need AM Woodland Outdoor Design for a professional design and a team that will show up on time to get the job done. They'll even let you know throughout the project how everything's going. Imagine that. When you're ready to liven up your curb appeal or completely redesign your outdoor living space, the perfect solution? AM Woodland Design. With so many landscape contractor options to choose from, use a team that shares your values of hard work, honesty, integrity, and patriotism. AM Woodland Outdoor Design proudly sponsors Food for the Poor as a business benefactor and would be honored to work with you.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Love it. I'll take it for life. When I go in and I get all my checkups and everything and that, my numbers are just, they're through the roof. Good. It works well.
It is the most wonderful product I think I've ever taken.
The success of using this product has just been wonderful. And it's so pleasant to take. It's so easy to use. There's just no downside to it. If a product like this is going to improve your life, then this is the best one out there.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 30% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. You will also receive an extra $10 off on any additional set of fruits and veggies you purchase. This summer special will expire, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Mark the date. Set a reminder. The Illinois Numismatic Association presents the 60th Coin and Currency Show, Thursday through Saturday, September 12th through the 14th, at the Mega Center at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. So much fun, so much history. This is the best show in the country, with displays valued at millions of dollars. Don't miss the show for serious collectors and investors. Plus, it's a great family event. Or if you're interested in all this history, on Friday evening at 6, it's the Matthew Bullock Auction Gallery, the official auction house of the Illinois Numismatic Association. Auction viewing is Thursday and Friday during show hours. If you've never been to a coin show, this is the one to attend. One of the largest and best in the country. Get more information at ilnaclub.org. That's ilnaclub.org. Admission and parking are both free with your photo ID. Mark the date. Thursday through Saturday, September 12th through the 14th, at the Mega Center at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. The 60th Coin and Currency Show presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. Don't miss it.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. I needed to take a minute just to brag on our almost 200 amazing employees. In 2009, we changed our tagline to, "We can grow any business in any industry at any time." The world trusted us and helped us become a 5-time Inc. 5000 honoree. Our 200 employees have done two major things at the same time. We manage 1,800 money-making websites and over 260 e-commerce sites for our client partners across the globe. 34% of Americans visited one of these assets last year. But at the same time, these amazing employees have stopped their life every single week and recorded videos and podcasts of exactly how we grow these digital assets. If you're looking to figure out how we do it, just go to door number 1. It's free. You can study thousands of hours of material on how to grow your business. If you have money but no time, go to door number 2. It's a bit pricey, but our managed services are absolutely incredible. You got to check out IncomeStore.com. Our 200 employees are absolutely amazing.
We have to talk about it.
Nope, I don't want to.
We have to.
No.
But we need life insurance.
I am not listening to you.
So you don't love me then?
What? Oh, fine. We need life insurance, but all the paperwork, it's such a pain.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos? Is that some kind of yoga thing?
No, Ethos is life insurance for people like us.
Like us?
People who don't have time for fine print